The front door is unlocked.
You contain multitudes.
Bullshit detector, remember?
Another fool's errand, witch. Their blood will become our power.
You heard it up top. We return once more with the episode where you get to know your hosts a little bit better, because we're going to talk about what we are getting down with. It's a Whatcha here on Normies Like Us with your hosts, Colin,
Mike,
and Jacob.
hey,
Coming at you, Normies.
coming
what's
at
up?
you. 249. You know, normally we do it on 10s,
Wow.
but due to some new releases upcoming, we shifted it around. So this is our
Yeah,
250.
scheduling. Got some new
Swapperino.
movies coming out. It'll be a surprise, I guess, what we'll do next week. Tune in next week to find out.
Yep, and this
It's gonna
time
be
we're just
a new release.
freestyling.
Yeah.
Everything post our 300 episode, I don't consider a real episode because, of course, we have just gone completely off the rails.
Right. Only the Ghibli stuff will
We
count,
jumped the
and then when
shark.
that's done, we're completely done. Yeah. With proper programming. But I keep getting blown away by the fact that we're creeping ever closer to having one episode for every day in a year.
Wow,
That's
That's going to be upcoming soon, too, within a couple months. So exciting.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
365, Charlie XCX.
Oh,
What you doing, guys? What's up?
what's up with y'all? We're gonna check in on the pop culture stuff we're getting down with. Quick question up top: whatcha? What's going on? What you been up to? How y'all feel about this crazy world we're in right now?
Well,
Everything going
great
good and
question.
being normal?
Not great. Not great.
Okay,
I'm tired of living through global events every few
Right.
months.
Yeah, it'd be nice
Yeah.
to live in precedented times instead of unprecedented times. Am I right?
Yeah, I enjoy the tumult of the era that we're in. There's so much tumult, more tumult than you can handle in the tumultuous times.
Tumult.
Um,
Yes.
If you're a fan of tumult, you're stoked. I don't know. I went to the Los Angeles No Kings protest because fuck Donald Trump and fuck ICE.
God bless.
So that was a fun time. It was very peaceful. I got a hot dog and was hanging
Oh
out.
yeah.
And everybody was peaceful, and it was great. So I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Love to hear it, buddy.
Yeah, it's because it's crazy times.
What do you
Mm.
what do you guys do to stay grounded and stay happy in times like
Mm.
this?
Whew.
Great
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if I have the best tips, but ideally, like, I'm most centered when I'm doing stuff with my friends. Like, this is a part
Yeah.
of that, just getting to hang
Yeah,
out and chat.
This is a strong contender for like way up there on my list of staying normal,
Definitely
staying
grounds you.
happy.
Yeah, like
For me,
go ahead.
oh sorry. Yeah, this is great. And also, if I'm ever experiencing anxiety or depression or anything like that, what I like to do is I try to exercise. I ride on my little bike, my stationary bike, and that's something that can make you kind of feel better. That's something I've been trying to keep up with and also get in better shape. So it's like,
Yeah.
multiple benefits there. And just keep my mind occupied, not try to doom scroll, reading the news or reading Twitter or whatever. And I've also been I've taken a page from Mike Son's book here, and I'm trying to learn a little Japanese. I've been using
Wow.
Duolingo. So I'm on a
Nice.
22-day streak right now on Duolingo of doing Japanese lessons. So
That's
still
incredible.
very much a beginner, not an expert like Mike
Oh,
Son. But
And you were
No,
waiting
no.
for the boycott to start with the AI stuff. You were like, "This is what I'm getting on Duolingo."
you know what? I didn't know about that at the time. And then my sister was telling me about that. And I was like, well, dang, because I
got that streak to keep going. So sorry, Laura.
spiritually I agree with the boycott. I'm anti AI, but at the same time I want to learn Japanese. I don't know a better way to do it. So if there's
No,
a
I'm proud of
competitor
you.
to Duolingo that doesn't use AI, then I would like
yeah.
that. I so far it's been, I'm sorry to the people out there that are boycotting. I feel bad now, but 22-day streak.
Well, congrats on the streak. I'm using a new reading app called LingQ, and you read in
LingQ.
Japanese, and then it'll eventually have the translation of the words you don't know. So I'm learning the kanji, the Chinese characters now, and I'm on a 6-day streak of that. And it's like I'm already recognizing characters that I couldn't read before at a pretty fast rate.
Kanji
So yeah.
is insane. Yeah. If you don't know, there's Japanese uses 3 different alphabets
Hmm.
for their language. So they have hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And hiragana is like the basic alphabet. Katakana is mainly used for like foreign words or loan words.
Yeah.
To like, the syllables of like English
Like
words, basically.
your name in English would be written in katakana, English words,
Yeah.
truck, right? Yeah.
And then kanji, which is the most insane thing because there's like thousands of different kanji, and it's based on, they took it from the Chinese a long time ago, basically.
Hmm.
And that's the very fancy looking with a lot of strokes and things like that. So,
Wow.
and those are used a lot for nouns and proper names and things
Verbs
like that.
and
So
stuff.
there's yeah, but everything in kanji can actually be spelled out with hiragana because it's just the different syllables, right? So
The
I've been
phonetics.
working on mastering. If once I memorize the hiragana, I think that'll help a lot with learning stuff, and then I'll move on to katakana, and then I'll move on to kanji because that's the hardest one. There's like 3,000 kanji that are in common use in Japanese.
Like 2,000 to
So you have to learn,
3,000 that you need to know
Yeah.
just to be a normal person. Yeah.
It's insane.
Wow.
So it's a long process, but I'm very much a beginner, but enjoying the learning because I've always wanted to learn other languages, never been very good at it, never stuck with it really. I took German in high school.
Yeah.
Mm.
My big theory is if I could be a student now, not when I was the most uninterested in being a student when I was
Yes.
a teenager in high school, I would be
Absolutely.
very good at learning things now. I'm thinking I would love to learn a language as well.
I
Mm.
totally agree. I think as you get older, you're like, man, I should have been such a knucklehead as a kid and paid attention in class, and I could have learned more stuff. And I wish I did. I was in German class in high school. Not much of it stuck with me. I still know, a little bit of German, but I
9.
wish I really paid more attention. And I wish I took Spanish as well, because living in LA, Spanish would be a lot more useful than German, unfortunately.
Yeah. I took
So
4 years of Spanish in high school, but I didn't
yeah,
I didn't take it seriously, and then when I moved out here, I'm
right,
like, I
right.
should have taken that seriously. It's helped me out a little bit here and there in random situations, but yeah, if I really would have cracked down on it, it would have come in way handier. But
Did you guys have
Wow.
a Spanish name when you were in
I,
Spanish class? You had to pick a name.
yes, I picked from Rocket Power, I picked Raimundo,
Raimundo.
the
Raimundo. I
father
was
from
also
Rocket
in
Power.
I was also in German, Jacob, and I believe it was Felix.
Mm,
I was Dieter in
Dieter.
German.
Dieter.
Dieter.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I just thought
Nice.
it sounded cool. Yeah.
Well, no, that's cool. And I think, yeah, as you get older, it's like, oh, yeah, I could have done
Good
this and that.
talk.
But it's cool that you're doing it anyway. I think you learn one thing a day at least, get a
I'm
little bit
proud of you
smarter every
guys.
day.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool
Yeah.
that
That's
you're
why
working on it.
I was inspired by you, and yeah, the way Duolingo works, if you complete one lesson at least a day, then you can keep your streak alive. And I feel like that really keeps me motivated because I'm like, well, I don't want to break the streak now. I would feel like shit if I did that. So I have to do at least one lesson. And some days I do a lot more, and then sometimes I'm like, I'm kind of sick of it. Let me just do one lesson to keep the streak alive. So
They send you your 1 month, your 6 month, your 1 year streak coins as you do
oh
your
yeah,
language courses.
it's like being in AA.
Language Polyglots Anonymous, PA. That's
Yes, and yeah,
multilingual people.
Duolingo. Boycott aside, I'm sorry, I didn't know about the AI stuff until recently,
Not a
but they do have a
sponsor.
lot of
Oh,
languages
what
on
do you
there.
do? Yeah,
You
what
can
do you
even
do?
learn Klingon or High Valyrian in
Mm,
Oh,
Duolingo. So if you
weird.
want to learn some made up languages, you can.
right. Well, all languages are made up, kind of, I guess.
Mm,
There's some
point.
other things I could mention, like Renshu is a good one. Wani Kani is good for learning kanji. Those are non-AI. Renshu is made by
Yeah.
a married couple that set up this whole database. So there's stuff out there, but
Cool.
you're doing it and you're
Yeah,
learning.
I'll have to talk with you off pods more about link Q and stuff like that. I've been
Yeah.
watching a YouTube video that's like an hour long of learning hiragana, where you learn like 5 at a time because they're kind of grouped by, they're grouped together. So I've been taking it like 1 or 2
IUAO,
lessons at a time.
Kaikukeko, like each kind of rack.
Yeah,
I recommend writing them. That'll be my last tip. Like start to
that's the
write
other
them
thing I'm
as
gonna
you
learn
practice
do.
them
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Wow.
Colin, what about you? Are you learning anything these days?
Learn.
Boy, I wish I could say I was. No, I don't have anything really interesting going on that end.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
I think we're all learning about what a crazy world we live in. At least everybody's learning that these days. But um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's good to keep your mind engaged, and it's good to not be thinking about things that you really can't control all the time. That's what I kind of get in this doom scrolling cycle where I'm reading the news, I'm reading Twitter, social media, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, a lot of bad stuff is happening, but I can't really control it directly. So I just need to accept the
Mm.
things that you can, whatever that quote is.
Yeah, for Midnight
You
Mass.
know what I mean? So yeah.
Dig two graves, revenge. No, I feel you.
Yeah, exactly. And
Give me the
yet you're
strength
right
to-
about
yeah.
exercising. Like it helps with mood and depression. Like
Yeah, it
it's
releases
brain chemical
endorphins
stuff.
and
Yeah.
and so really because I
Yeah.
have I've had a history of anxiety and depression in my life, so
Hmm.
Yeah.
that's something that definitely, and I hate exercising, to be honest. I'm not a big exercise person, but
Right.
I kind of hate it while I'm doing it, but then afterwards you do feel like it does actually improve your general mood, and if you do it regularly, like you will feel healthier and mentally healthier. So in my
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. You'll eventually feel better, look better. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
And get this guy pickleball. He can't be stopped. Like.
Pickle pals, we love playing pickleball
So yeah, I'm
down in
trying to do some exercising
West
too. I think
Hollywood.
that's a good strategy.
Yeah,
Damn.
Yep. And the other
absolutely.
thing,
And the older you get, the more important it is because we're all old.
we're not getting any
pieces of
younger. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're millennials. But the other thing I like to do when the world's going crazy is I distract myself with media, whether through visual media or sports or video games. And I think that's what we're going to talk about maybe
Absolutely.
right after this.
We're back here on Normies Like Us, where we're about to get down to it. We're going to talk Whatcha. Like we said, we're going to go through all the pop culture things we've been enjoying. But let's start there with a little bit of live entertainment, I say. Let's do some Sporto talk.
Oh, Sports
Sportos.
Corner. All right.
Sports
Sports
corner.
corner.
Sports corner.
Pew, 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 pew,
Oh,
pew,
yeah.
pew, pew.
Slam that dunk.
Sports.
Dump the slams. Touch the downs.
Goal. Touchdown. He going all the way. Sports Corner.
Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
NBA Finals.
Yeah.
NBA Finals, NHL Finals, Stanley Cup.
That's right.
That's
So
what we're talking today.
I get a text
Yeah.
every day. My phone goes,
We're in the
buzz, buzz,
basketball, cyberpunk,
Buzz,
hockey
buzz.
chat. So
slash. There's a couple other slashes in there, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
it's a very prestigious group chat. If you know, you know.
Yeah. I get a buzz,
Baldur's
buzz,
Gate.
buzz. We're on a 3-hour difference. I'm maybe putting away my food. I get a little text that says, NBA Finals, day 6,302. So I say, what is this nonsense I get updated on every day?
Yeah, I mean the NBA playoffs do go on for like a month and a half, so it is a long thing. But it's my favorite sporting event of the year, the NBA Finals. I love even more than American football. I think basketball is my number one sporto.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that it's it's a 7-game series, so there's 4 rounds of 7-game series, which is why it takes so long. And instead of compared to football where it's one and done, so that lasts. Well, they do it like 4 weekends in a row. Whereas basketball just keeps going and going and going. Now we're in the NBA Finals. My team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, was eliminated in the second round by the Indiana Pacers, who are now in the finals. My team, they were the first seed in the East, kind of expected to go a little further than the second round, so it was disappointing, but they just ran into this crazy hot Indiana Pacers team, and they got dooskied, which is sad, but
right.
yeah.
But do you find in scenarios like that, if you lose to a team, you want that team that beat you to win, so then you can say, oh, we
Yes.
lost to the championship team at least?
Actually, yes, because I've talked a little bit about this, but like last year we lost to the Celtics again in the second round, and the Celtics went on to be the NBA champions. So if the Pacers win this year, then that's 2 years in a row that my team was eliminated by the eventual champions. So I do feel a little better because it's like, well, we did lose, but at least
They were the
that beat
best
us, like,
team in the
went all
league.
way.
Yeah,
like
right.
if they lose, then it's like, well, the team that beat us didn't even go all the way. So it's like we really suck. But
Well,
That's amazing.
people kind of are talking shit about the Cavs now, saying, oh, they can't even get past the second round. They can't get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But really, it's just who they've played. They've had the bad luck of playing these teams that are pretty good in the second round. Like we could have beat the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, but we just had to play the Pacers first. And this team, Tyrese Halliburton, man, what a crazy Cinderella run, as they call it.
Well, I'm on the
Colin
opposite
shaking his
end
head.
of that, though.
Yeah.
Because it's also the Stanley Cup Finals, and the LA
Right.
Kings, my favorite team, have been eliminated 4 years in a row by the Edmonton
Wow.
Oilers in the first round.
That's
And
rough.
I want Edmonton, who is in the finals now against Florida, to lose because I just hate that they
yeah.
do ski us, and I don't want them to succeed. So I have the opposite kind of mindset of where
So why
I
is it
wish
that
for them
they?
to fail.
I hope the hate flows,
Yeah.
Mike.
Why do
Yeah,
they play
it
the
flows.
Oilers every time? Like
It's just how the
scheduling just
seeding
worked
has
out
shook
that way?
out. Yeah, it's just
Oh,
we've ended up, unfortunately, playing them 4 years in a row, and every year they beat us in fewer and fewer games. It was like 7 games,
that's too
6
bad.
games, 5 games, and I think this one was 5 games, and it's or 6.
Yeah.
But it's like, I hate you, Edmonton, but they do have the best players in the world. But they're in a rematch against the
Leon
Panthers,
Wetfrontal.
who won in 7 games. Leon Draisaitl.
His name is Draisaitl.
Love
We
him.
call him Wet Frontal.
We call him Wet Frontal.
Very funny.
Well,
And
Yeah.
Connor McDavid is Connor McDusky, but he's actually the best player in the world.
oh,
So
He is
we'll see what
good.
happens, and it's tied 2-2. Where's the basketball at? No,
Well,
sorry.
as we're
Panthers are
recording
up
this,
3-2.
Okay, and the Panthers
Yeah.
won last year, so if
In
they win
7.
again, that's 2 years in a row. So they're kind
Back
of
to
becoming
back.
a dynasty in a way.
And it's their 3rd year in a row playing in the finals. So yeah, they're pretty good.
Okay. See, for me, I was telling you, like in the chat, I
Mhm.
actually am rooting for the Oilers because I'll take Canada over Florida any day.
No, Florida
Um,
man. Do it for Florida man.
well, what
think-
do the Kings do different, Mike? What's the issue?
So the issue seems to be Edmonton has the 2 literal best players in the world. So they're offensively really powerful. No lead is safe.
Got
They can
Ovechkin.
come back. Yeah, well, Ovechkin has scored the most goals in his career, but the best players currently
He's
in
kinda
their
old
prime
now.
athletically
Yeah.
are Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So they have a lot of firepower. They have weaker goaltending than us. I think they're just in our head because I think structurally our team has a lot more depth than they do. I think our top to bottom team has more overall talent, like percentage wise. It's just
Hmm.
sometimes superstars are going to
I like
superstar. We don't have a crazy superstar. We have pretty good players, but we don't have anybody that's like, I'm trying to think of a basketball comp. We don't have like a Dwayne Wade. You know, we have a lot of really, really good role
Wade,
players, a couple people who are above
Don't
average.
have
So
LeBron.
yeah, we're super well rounded, but we got no LeBron. Meanwhile, the Oilers have basically it's Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the great good years of Golden
Okay,
State.
the Splash
That's right.
Brothers.
That's basically what they have, yeah.
the Ice Splash Brothers. Jacob, can I ask you a question on that front just because he was named? LeBron James,
Yeah.
who's maybe your favorite player ever?
Yeah, just because I've always had a connection with LeBron. He
You're
was
from the
born
streets
in
of Cleveland
Akron,
as well, of
Ohio.
course.
Mhm.
I'm from the streets of Canton, Ohio. So we had the same area code, with our
God
phone
bless.
numbers.
And you, of course, have that
Rio.
tattooed as well.
They
Yeah.
both speak
What-
Cantonese.
That's right.
Cantonese, I love it.
Thank you.
What does LeBron and Luca do to win? How do they turn it around?
Oh,
if
the
if
Lakers.
even that's not enough, and I know it's not the
Mm.
team that you follow, but what would be your opinion there? Since that's kind of an interesting.
Well, so the
interesting
problem with
piece.
the Lakers this year, obviously they had this crazy trade with the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks kind of inexplicably gave up Luka Doncic, one of the best young players in his prime, for Anthony Davis, who went to the Mavericks. So now it's the duo of LeBron and Luka. The problem is their supporting cast isn't that good. They need a big man, they need a center. They didn't have a true center, so their defense isn't very good. So you're having a 40-year-old LeBron, past his prime, still LeBron, still the GOAT, but he's not. This isn't 2016 LeBron, okay? This is
But Jacob,
2025
hold on,
LeBron.
hold
Yeah.
on. What's that? I hear it like ring music. What's that? What do I hear? It's the Papa John's restaurant theme. Of course, big man, and you're talking about someone who's old. Here's how we fix it. Shaq comes
Bring
out of
Shaq
retirement. Shaq
50-year-old
comes
Shaq.
to the Lakers, and him and LeBron are like, we're not going home till we get a
I
title,
think Shaq
baby.
would probably die if he tried to play 5 minutes of NBA basketball.
If Shaq tried to dunk do you think right now Shaq can still dunk a basketball?
I think
What
he
do you
could dunk. I think the problem would be trying to play for like more than 5 minutes because you have to have good conditioning to play in the NBA.
But
'cause it's
let's
just
say he
you're
has
just
to
running.
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Listen to what I'm saying though. He has to dribble it from the foul line up enough to then dunk. Do you think
I think he could still
Shaquille
do that.
O'Neal right now can still do that? Really?
Yeah, It's just a matter, like, he's still tall. He can still slam
Yeah.
dunk probably. I mean, his knees might be
You think he
bad
can
now.
dribble and walk still?
He could do it like slowly, maybe. I don't know. But we
Yeah.
love Inside the NBA. Big fan. Charles Barkley,
God
Shaq,
bless.
the guys. They are I don't know if you guys know this about Inside the NBA. On TNT for 24 years, ended their contract with TNT this year due to basically getting bought by ESPN. So next year they will be on ESPN. So they were saying goodbye to TNT. This playoffs is a big deal because they've just
24
been
years.
with the Turner
Wow.
News Network or whatever for so many years.
The
So
home of
moving to ESPN,
basketball.
people are worried. They're like, oh, ESPN's going to ruin it, all this stuff. It's like the best show on TV, Inside the NBA. You got Charles Barkley, the funniest guy in the world. You got Shaq, you got Kenny the Jet Smith, Ernie, my guys, Anyways,
Shaq
we
pops
love
over to
him.
the NHL coverage too. They had him with a giant
Really?
hockey stick. He was goofing around with Paul
Nice.
Bissonnette and those guys. It was always fun
I
to
love
see
that.
Shaq because he just
The big
walks
air-
across the hallway or whatever.
Mike,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the easiest way to get me to look up a YouTube video is to say, oh, and then Shaq pops in. That's great.
Yeah, and he's talking about the ice hockey. I'm like, hey, all right, Shaq, you're my guy.
Yeah.
I want to
Funniest
shout
thing with
out.
Shaq is yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's just on the hockey note. The PWHL, the Pro Women's Hockey League, finished its finals recently, and the Minnesota Frost have won their second in a row of all two PWHL finals. The Minnesota Frost have won them both. Taylor Heisey, Maddie Rooney, they're the best.
Good job.
So
Good job.
they
And
do
of course,
best of 5
WNBA.
series.
Okay. But watch a little at WNBA as well. Caitlin Clark, maybe you've heard of her.
Yep, I've heard of her.
Shit.
Indiana
Who
Fever.
fucking gives a
Indiana
shit?
basketball right now. You got the
Right.
Pacers in the finals. You got the Fever, best team in the WNBA,
I know who's your
best
boy.
player in the WNBA. Of course, Colin, big fan of the Los Angeles Sparks.
That's right.
Mark Romans has gone to a couple of Las Vegas Aces games.
Well,
Okay,
we
yeah.
got our most recent huge player, Kelsey Plum, our guard
right,
slash
Kelsey
shooter
Plum.
from the Aces, of course.
I've been telling you about
Mhm.
Kelsey
Now,
Plum.
can we
haven't
beat
I?
them? No. Yeah, shut up, Jacob.
Yeah. Okay. Two things I want to say. Well, number one about the Kings, Mike. You say you're a LA Kings fan, but you went to a No Kings rally.
Oh, hey, you're
Did you
right.
wear your jersey with the word "no" with duct tape with like Sharpie written on it above? LA
No,
Kings?
I should have done that. I had I do have a
Be very hot.
LA Kings jersey that says "Go Tacos Go," but that would not work for Trump either.
Mm.
No.
But I did see a
Tacos
sign that said the
Go.
only Kings I want to see in LA are the LA Kings logo,
LA
and I was like,
And the
okay.
Sacramento Kings.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
most cursed team in basketball. We don't have to talk about them.
light the
but,
beam. You know,
Light the beam. That was, they had one good season where they were the
What are
beam
you
team
talking
and
about?
blew it all up.
the beam team.
What are
We
you
love the
talking
beam
about?
team.
They light the beam when they win.
They did, yeah. They had this thing where they shoot this giant beam up into the sky. Sacramento, they don't have much going on over there. Okay, they got to
They
do
got those
something to
burritos.
spice it up.
They got the train museum in Old Sac. How dare you?
Yeah. But yeah, last thing I want to say about the Cavs, like the Kings, I've been, I was
Mhm.
disappointed and they were really the favorite in the East. Like I said, they were number 1 seed, had a great season all year. It was
Oh
like
yeah, we had
them
the
and
great
East.
regular season. We were number 1 seed too.
Okay. Yeah, but we had the OKC Thunder in the West, the Cleveland Cavaliers in the East. They were supposed to match up. I was
Damn.
disappointed because, we couldn't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Got Dusky by the Pacers, but this Pacers team, they just had some clutch games with some big comebacks. And it's disappointing, but Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, my guys. So we'll be back next
Wow.
year.
Mhm.
And maybe we should wrap up Sports Corner now. We've been sporting out over here. Anything else to
Sporting
add?
out. It's just definitely off brand for us. We've done a couple episodes on like fantasy football or football. We very rarely do sports corner, but this is a time of year I think that at least me and Jacob are very excited for with the NHL and NBA.
Oh, I love
finals.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love how they coincide every year. We kind of talk about it with each other and like, oh, what's going on with hockey? What's going on with basketball?
I think if one of us, we have an MMA friend, and if we really wanted to, we could get all that info. I think if one of us had a Formula One guy in this group, we would
Oh, sure.
truly have
Brad
every
Pitt.
base covered of sports.
That's
Wouldn't you,
true.
Ray?
We got it. Well, yeah, our friend Cole has been saying for a while he wants to get into baseball. He said this is the year
I
we
was
all get
going to
into
say
baseball.
he's the baseball guy lately.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
There's a big news for
Dodgers.
baseball, too. As of today, Shohei Ohtani will be the starting pitcher
pitching.
against the Padres, which he hasn't
Yes, I'm
pitched yet
super
as a
excited about that.
Dodger. Yeah.
Yeah, so Shohei Ohtani, the best
King of
player
Japan.
in baseball, Japanese player, famously previously was a two-way player, which means he pitches and he hits, which is very unusual. Most starting pitchers do not
No,
also
dude. He doesn't get gassed.
are
Dude. He's
not also in
invincible.
the rotation. But he's so good. He's like Bruce. What's his name?
Babe Ruth.
Lee?
Babe Ruth.
That-
Babe
yeah.
Ruth 2.0. So Babe Ruth famously he pitched and hit homers a lot, and he was good at both of those things. That's what Ohtani does. But since he was traded to the Dodgers, has not pitched because they want to like protect his arm, because if you wear out your arm, then that's no good.
It's time
So,
though, dude.
But now he's pitching, and we love him. He's hitting homers.
Can I
Some
do
Dodger dogs?
Stealing
Can I
bases.
do one last
And our hearts.
I did not like Dodger dogs, but I could get them. Can I do one last sports shout out? I was hanging out with some guys recently working, and they were both Pittsburgh Pirates fans. So the Pittsburgh baseball team. And then separately, they were both wearing Steelers hats. And I said, because this is my great, my way in, of course. I'm a Bengals fan. You guys are Browns fans. So yeah, we hate them. But of course, to bring up now, just the news, I went, hey, what do you guys think about Aaron Rodgers? They went like, we'll kind of see what's going on there. Both of them quite happy. It was just a 1-year contract.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they've been going through some interesting times at QB. They had Russell Wilson last year, Aaron Rodgers this year. It's like they're getting all these washed up former stars, still
Who's the young
playable,
guy?
but Justin Fields as well.
They should have just kept Justin Fields then.
Yeah, and he went to the
Just let
Jets
him
where
get
Rodgers
practice.
came from. So it's like they switched positions. But yeah, Browns, we love our Browns out here. We love our Cleveland Guardians. Not those Southern Ohio fools down there in Bengal
We're
country.
for Danny Dimes. We like the Giants. We root for everybody on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will give Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh credit for their color scheme matching of all their professional teams. I do appreciate that the Penguins, the Pirates, and the Steelers are all yellow and black.
Yellow.
That's where you can wear a
Wiz Khalifa.
different hat and a different jersey.
And they had that great song by Wiz Khalifa where he made the Steelers
Black and
theme
yellow.
song, Black and Yellow.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But,
orange and brown is better, though. We all know this.
and technically,
Not
brown
orange
is
and
just
black,
dark orange.
it's orange and
so
brown.
it's just orange and orange, actually.
Yeah,
Well, brown is like yellow. Orange is like dark yellow, and then brown is like light black. So
No, if you go into Photoshop and you go to the color spectrum, you go to orange and you drag it down, it becomes brown. So it's just dark
that's true.
orange is brown. Yeah, but anyway.
Cleveland Browns classic color combo.
Color
representing
wheel
football.
corner.
It's a football
That's right.
town.
It's a
But yeah,
football town.
basketball we love. This is my favorite time of year for sporting events, just because you have the NHL and NBA playoffs coinciding. I love it even more than the NFL playoffs. Like I said, I like NFL for fantasy, but I prefer basketball to football. I like football enough, but probably because my team is pretty much always bad, but it's usually not that fun to watch. So
Builds character.
builds character. We've gone through a lot of tough years, Browns fans, but we love it. I wish I could play fantasy basketball if I had friends that were into it, but
Sounds
Email
like
us.
interesting.
Yeah,
Sorry.
write in if you want to play
If
fantasy
you're-
basketball.
if
with
you're
us.
a
fantasy
lonely
WNBA.
weirdo who also wants to hook up with Jacob, right in.
Yeah, let us know. Well, that's Sports
Otherwise,
Corner.
that's Sports Corner.
What's going on?
Slam dunk. He's going
right.
for it all. All right.
Let's talk about what else we're watching here on Normies Like Us. We're back and we're talking Whatcha, as in what we're watching.
What are you
here on
watching?
What? What are we
What
watching?
the hell are you watching out there?
Yeah.
Nickelodeon.
Nice. Okay. I watched something last weekend. I guess I can kick it off. We thought about doing an episode for this, but we switched it up. So I went to the ballerina with 24 people. We got a group of 24 people to all
From
go
the world
see the
of John
ballerina
Wick.
from the world of John Wick. Yeah.
Ballerina from the world of John Wick.
I've never gone to a movie with that large of a group of people. It was,
24
That's
people
crazy.
we had an entire row and a half. It was wild.
shutting the theater down.
Yeah. I don't know why Ballerina from the world of John Wick drew all of them to it. We had a group chat and it just
Yes.
kept growing. I don't know how or why.
Hey, what brought everyone together specifically, Mike? The killing or Ana de Armas?
I think the killing. I know the organizer really just loves the John Wick movies, and it's kind of out of character. Like, this person's not a huge movie person or even an action person, but they're like, I love the John Wick movies. So they
Love
set up the
John
group,
Wick.
and then maybe it's a little bit. I was calling it Ana de Armed and Dangerous.
Mm.
But
love
They
it.
armed and dangerous.
there you go. Yeah, it was very
Again.
it was all right. I think so. I won't go into spoilers, but there's
It's all right.
you don't go for the plot. There's some good action scenes. There's one very cool action scene in the third act, but Keanu Reeves is in the trailer obviously, and he's like,
What?
Yeah.
How much we talking, Mike? How much? Keanu?
Flashbacks.
it's
Hey,
an in
ballerina,
betweener.
you from the
I'm
world
John
of
Wick.
me?
You're a ballerina.
They do a
From
little bit of
Hero
that,
Summer.
like, oh, when I was in that room, you were in the room adjacent, and you heard everything from the other movie.
What? Really? They do some
Yeah.
of that? For what
Just
reason?
one. Well, because
I know, like,
she's being
Ian
trained at the
McShane's in
same
it.
place that he trained at.
Yeah. She's like the
By-
female version of what he's
To the
doing.
Ruska Roma clan or whatever. So it's
Sure.
the same place where he was trained.
Ian McShane is in it. Lance
And
Reddick, I
the
believe,
Lance,
his final, his final
Lance Reddick.
screen role. Lance Reddick.
I like seeing that, yeah. But it's fun for what it is. But Keanu, man, he's just leaning into the bit. He's like, that door is gonna close sooner than you think.
What?
Yeah, it's good.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Do people pay for goods or services with large gold coins?
Boy, do they.
Do they go to
Okay.
the hotel and say, "This is no business can be conducted on these hotel grounds"?
Do they go to a place called the Continental? Boy, do they. Is there a weapons
Yeah.
sommelier? Boy, is there.
Oh,
Wow.
sure. Peter.
It's all the greatest hits. Um,
That's cool. I
It
think I
has-
would like that. I guess I'm kind of bummed that I haven't seen it.
yeah,
Another
I
thing
mean, it's fun.
I also read another thing about it that I thought was interesting. The script was punched up by Emerald Fennell, who made Saltburn and Promising Young Woman. She's a director. Not a huge fan of her, so I thought it was interesting that she's punching up this action movie dialogue.
They also
Michael
brought
tell
back-
us too. Is there a scene where Keanu Reeves drinks Ana de Armas' bathwater?
No,
she
no.
dance
not
naked through a house to murder on the dance floor.
quite. Right. No, and she's not a hologram either. But
would.
what was I gonna say?
She's
Oh,
not a real
no.
human being.
Yeah, right. I can't remember now. Oh well. Oh yeah, they brought Chad Stahelski back to redo some of the action scenes because they're like, oh man, this thing's kind of a piece of shit. They had the Underworld director, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
which we love
Len
Underworld.
Wiseman, right? Was
Yeah.
the director.
But
Underworld.
then they were like, this might not be that good.
Maybe if they had Kate Beckinsale, then I would be interested. But
She's too busy doing Click. It's the sequel for Netflix probably, but we'll see. Yeah, Ballerina. It was all right. They do a couple things.
okay.
There's a couple like clever ideas in it, but I
would
never
you
thought
give it,
it
like,
needed to
3
exist in the first place. But
3 stars. What would you give it? Rating?
I'll give it a 3 stars.
3 stars.
Excuse me, Mike does Letterboxd now. We tune into his reviews.
right. Put it on
Yeah,
your letterbox.
I'll have to put it on my letterbox. I'll give it a 3.5 stars. Worth watching, maybe not
3.5.
worth going to the theaters. Like, don't
Yeah,
rush
I was
out.
probably gonna. Since we're not talking about it for an episode, I'm probably gonna catch it on streaming when it comes out. Not a theater.
What do
movie
those
for me.
go to?
Ooh,
Oh, I think
Lionsgate?
probably. I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up
Peacock,
real quick.
Peacock.
I went on Peacock. It's just a million. There's like a million movies like Novocaine, Love Hurts,
Yeah,
Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, all those
these
people
movies
are
the
like
same thing.
directed by like he did the stunts for John Wick 1, and you're like,
Right.
oh, okay,
yeah.
How many
It really.
movies like that can they make? Mr. Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, you know?
Mr. Novocaine, buddy.
Oh yeah, it was the Kihi Kwan one too, right?
Yeah, Love Hurts.
Love Hurts. That's what that was. Yeah. It's
The
created
Novocaine
a
with
cottage
Jack
industry.
Quaid.
These John Wick movies. We had
Right.
Atomic Blonde a couple years ago too,
Atomic Blonde.
which I think is
Yeah,
much
those
better
ones are
than the Ballerina. I will say that.
Yeah. Bullet Train. That was one of the John
Yep.
Wick directors. Bullet Train, right?
Mm-hmm. The Action Renaissance. I don't know where they're streaming though. Fubo TV or something. Figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
right, so that's the ballerina. So I will now.
ballerina.
I
What
what
else
do
can
they
we talk about?
what do they say on the
Colin?
Senate when you take your time back or whatever? You cede the floor.
Oh yeah. I
Thanks for
reclaim
giving
my
me your
time.
time, Mike.
I reclaim my
I
time.
object Mike's viewing of a movie.
The ballerina was much
Well,
better than he said.
I'll
Yeah.
talk about another theatrical film. I went and saw The Life of Chuck,
Oh, I've been curious about that.
which is the new film by Mike Flanagan, a director we love very
Right.
much. We did our Shining episode and then kind of talked a little bit about Doctor Sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, and I
yes,
like Doctor
absolutely. Love
Sleep a
Doctor
lot.
Sleep. And you've been excited for this one for a while, right? Because I think you sent us the trailer. You said, "Oh, this movie's gonna be great and stuff."
I
I'm really looking
think
forward to it.
Mike Flanagan is maybe my favorite working director. Like
Hmm.
in the way that like John Carpenter doesn't really make movies and like James Cameron is like in a blue prison of his own design.
Uh
It
huh.
seems like I don't really know what's going on there.
It's his blue
Uh,
heaven, I think.
it is his blue heaven. I've had to turn to new outlets, and I've enjoyed so much every work, and I do include all the Netflix TV outputs, the theatrical films. Since I
Yeah,
saw Oculus in theaters,
right.
I've loved the man, and especially his fascinating interest in the works of Stephen King, of which this is also an adaptation.
Yeah, he's a big
Yeah,
Stephen
that's
King
right.
guy. To me, he's the new Frank Darabont in a way. Because remember Frank Darabont? He would adapt Stephen King all the time. You know, Shawshank
Mm.
Redemption, The Mist.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I mean Stephen King. There's been a million, obviously, adaptations of Stephen King's work. One of your favorite authors, if not your favorite author, right?
I would
And
say. Yeah.
yeah, Mike Flanagan, the new Stephen King guy. I think he's done a lot of Stephen King or Stephen King adjacent. Like, well,
Yeah.
Doctor Sleep. That's based on Stephen King's book, the sequel to The Shining,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Yes, and I think and he's about to do a Carrie TV series.
Oh,
There's
wow.
Right.
truly a ton of other works. I think in the way that most of them are like super obvious, especially with what Mike Flanagan's interested in talking about, like his oeuvre of like meditating on death and like the people who are left behind when someone passes away. Like you would think he'd do like Pet Cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
like the big hits. But the fact that instead he's like, what if I did Gerald's Game, where
Gerald's
it's
Game.
a
Yes.
movie about a woman who's just on a bed? Like that's
Right.
Yeah.
it. Like that's all I've got to work with.
What if
Where
I
this
casted
film,
my wife in one of my projects or
yeah,
all of my
what if
projects?
Katie
Mm-hmm.
Siegel appears in every film that I make, and every time Colin reads that name, thinks, "Oh, the woman who plays Leela, and Pam Bundy is going to be in this,"
Mm-hmm.
and instead I go, "No, it's Mike Flanagan's wife." That's right.
Right.
Interesting.
No, I'm a big fan
Um,
of Mike Flanagan as well. Especially, I like his Netflix series that he was doing,
Mm-hmm.
his horror series. Obviously, I think um, the Haunting of Hill House is still to me um, like one of my favorites. I think it's a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Bly Manor. I like that one. I like
Midnight
Midnight
Mass.
Mass, which that was original, and even his originals feel very Stephen King
oh yeah.
inspired. Where Midnight
Yeah.
Mass is like, oh, this is like a new Salem's Lot or something.
Yep. 100%.
Um, and Fall of House of Usher, I never watched that one actually.
Oh,
I
I
still
like
need to
that a
watch
lot,
it.
actually.
It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, but so
Um,
the Life of Chuck, though, it's like it's Stephen King, but it's not like spooky, is it? It seems like a
no, it's
little
one of
bit
his
different
more
kind of. Yeah,
uplifting
different energy.
ones.
In the way that Jacob, you're saying the Frank Darabont, it's almost like the curve of being a Rob Reiner film. It's like the like Stand By Me sort of like
Yes.
Mm.
drama with not really a lot of supernatural elements, but when you guys see it, as I imagine you will, because it
Mm-hmm.
seems like you guys both very much enjoy this director, you will see how it fits into what he likes to explore. And I
Hmm.
found the film very satisfying. I can definitely understand why it is getting some mixed reviews, though.
Oh,
I've seen mostly positive buzz, so I am intrigued by it. It's on my list. It's on the list for sure. So, Tom Hiddleston too, Loki, running around.
Tom
Loki
Hiddleston.
himself, the little
I've heard
trickster.
some buzz of like, is Mark Hamill going to get like this sort of courtesy Best Supporting Actor nod, like the
Oh,
Jamie Lee Curtis, like,
Ooh.
oh, you're an older actor, you never got your dues. Should we throw him a bone here for Best Supporting Actor? What do you think?
I'm rooting for that. The person I put forward in my letterbox review is a person who truly appears in one scene, and it's Matthew Lillard, Shaggy himself. And my
Yo.
letterbox review said, "We need to treat this man like we treated Brendan Fraser. Like we need
Okay.
to put all of our love and goodwill behind, which I think kind of happened because when that robot food Fozzie Bear movie, what is that called?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, when that came out, people were
Oh,
like,
right.
"Yo, Matthew Lillard rules." I was like, "Yeah, he's always ruled."
He's always
Yeah.
ruled. Yeah, he's very underrated.
Scream, come on.
13
Scream,
Ghosts.
Scooby Doo. Yeah.
I love 13 Ghosts.
The
Are you
original
kidding
I
me?
might watch that tonight.
I think they're doing a TV series where the episode will explore each individual ghost. It's a terrible idea, but I think I saw that announced.
It
But I
is
love that
horrible.
movie.
It's gonna be 13
Wow.
episodes.
Exactly.
Scooby Doo, James Gunn's Scooby Doo. Come on,
Yeah.
the perfectly
Matthew Lillard.
cast as Shaggy. That's one I still have to see.
Hackers.
Hackers. Wow.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard rules.
Hack the world.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah. That's the Matthew Lillard corner. Thanks, everybody.
Well, I haven't seen any recently any movies in theaters. I did rewatch a movie. I'm wondering, should I talk about it now because it's related to what we're talking about next week,
Ooh.
or should I hold off on that? and
Maybe
just
I
talk
would
about it.
stay. Well, you could mention what it is, but I don't know. Yeah.
Should we tease
Let's tease it.
our next episode? So there's a new movie coming out. Every time I see trailers for this movie, I'm like, this looks like these are some of the best trailers I've seen in a long time. This looks fucking awesome. I'm talking about 28 years later.
Oh, sure.
Danny
Yeah.
Boyle. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailers for this, right? Like, it
Yes,
looks
I've seen the trailers several
fucking
times.
sick.
Yeah.
Like,
Looks good.
really good trailers. So I did rewatch 28 Days Later, the Danny
Original.
Boyle original zombie post-apocalyptic 2005 2002, I don't know, movie. Early 2000s. I think it
Cillian
still
Murphy.
holds up. Yeah, Cillian Murphy, Naomi Harris, Brendan Gleeson, Christopher Eccleston, Doctor Who.
Mhm.
God bless.
But I think it's it's got to be the best movie ever to be shot entirely in 480p DV cam.
That's what I was going to say. Notoriously, one of the first movies fully shot on frickin' DV cam for whatever
But
reason.
I think it works for this, like the aesthetic, this lo-fi aesthetic of this early
yeah.
2000s DV cam really works for this movie.
I
And it's
adore it.
like, yeah, it's like that early video look that like you can't even get anymore. Like movies that are going to be coming out in the future that are set in the early 2000s are going to try to emulate this look using modern cameras, and you can't do it.
Yeah, I'm
but
looking
yeah,
forward
really
to rewatching
incredible,
it.
just a moment of time and place. Like it really holds up. I think the third act, is the weakest. Once they get to the military guys, I kind of lose a little interest. But when they're just driving through the country in their little taxi, there's some great moments in that movie. And also the cast is incredible, where it's like Cillian Murphy and Naomi Harris were like nobodies at the time. Like Cillian Murphy had done like a couple independent films, and now of course he's Oscar-winning Oppenheimer, Peaky Blinders. We love Cillian Murphy. And Naomi Harris, I wouldn't call her a superstar, but she's been consistently working since then. And then of course you had Brendan Gleeson and Doctor Who, like I said. So really great cast, and the invention of fast zombies. Like,
I was
this was the
going to
origin of
say,
fast zombies.
it's kind of the prototype for The Last of Us, because the clickers will run at you. Like I'm feeling The Last of Us vibes when I see the trailers for 28 years later, just because they're so similar in identity.
I'm pretty nervous because
Ooh.
it stars a guy named Craven the Hunter, which I don't know.
Oh, right.
He's a ship
And
man
Ray Fiennes.
He's damn it, Mike. He's a Craven the Hunter man.
on my dime, of course.
Aaron Taylor
Yeah.
Johnson. But you got Ray Fiennes in there. And that's what's interesting about this franchise, is that every entry is like a different, because it's a different time period, because it's 28 days later, 28 weeks later, and then they skipped months because it's been so long since the last one. They just went 28 years later.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
I always thought it was funny that like this whole franchise is based on 28, a unit of 28, time measurements.
Yeah, no, I was mentioning the sequels of 28 minutes later, 28 seconds later,
Yeah, prequels.
28
28
hours,
seconds
yeah.
later, pretty short. Yeah.
It's a short film, yeah.
28
That's only
hours
half
later
of it.
would be interesting. It's the day after all this shit goes down.
Yeah, that would be like the first week when Cillian Murphy's just like in a coma.
That's
the
my
whole time.
Quiet Place day one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just sleeping in all of those prequels, basically.
Yeah.
He's just in the
Right.
hospital.
But it's so
Yeah, I bet
iconic
I
when he
can.
wakes up. He's walking around abandoned London. You got Godspeed You Black Emperor playing
Mhm.
on the soundtrack, and it's like, damn, that takes me back because I probably hadn't watched that movie since I was about 15 years old.
I haven't seen it in
And
probably over 10, 15 years as well. So I'm looking forward to revisiting it. And even that shot of him coming
yeah.
out of London has been emulated. Like The Walking Dead did a very similar thing when
Oh
he's
yeah,
trying
like
to
the first
figure out
episode with
what's
Rick.
going on, man, with Rick.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Speaking
been
of
copied
Frank
to death.
Darabont, yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
But looking
so
forward to
yeah,
that next
28
week.
days. And do you know the crazy release schedule that they're doing with? So they're apparently making 3 movies. It's 28 years later, then 28 years later, The Bone Doctor or something like
The
that.
Oh,
Bone
But it's
what?
Temple.
The Bone Temple, directed by Nia DaCosta,
That's right.
which I'm a little nervous about that. And then 28 years later, Part 3, which will also be directed by Danny Boyle. So I
Oh,
don't want to say any
man.
of that, but seems like
Okay.
a bad idea. But
No, I'm
we'll
less
see.
excited now. From the world of 28 Days Later, Bone Doctor,
The
whatever.
Bone Temple.
What if the third one's called The Blood Doctor? You'd be like, oh, it gets worse.
Man.
Yeah, but I don't know. Those trailers just look so cool, and it's like they're doing some interesting
What do you like
stuff.
about them? Like, I like
Just
the
the way they're
repetitious
edited.
voiceover, right?
Yeah, the
That's-
repetitious voiceover.
I like
Just
the
some really
island.
cool shots in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of a
Mhm.
unique post-apocalyptic world where, it's zombies, but they're not really zombies. They're infected with the rage virus, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And
Thanks
they're
to,
fast, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks to those
what is
dang
it?
animal
ALZ
activists.
13.
Yeah.
They get the
Right.
monkey virus.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Caesar's brother caught the rage virus.
So
The,
much I
um,
probably Shaun of
the
Dead
message
is
of
when
that
the
film is-
news says that and they click past it.
Oh yeah,
What's
yeah.
that?
London
In
has the
Shaun of
rage
the Dead,
virus.
when they're like, they say it's based on Monk, and he just like clicks real quick. He's like, nope.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, Shaun of the Dead, great movie.
Yep.
But yeah, 28 years later, we'll be talking about that next week, probably.
Hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to that.
Probably.
Yep.
We want to talk about some TV that we've been watching.
Yeah, I got a little bit of TV here. There's one that we all have been watching, it seems, on our list. One of our shows we liked a lot last year, Poker Face, Natasha Lyonne.
Yes, Ryan
He's
Johnson.
back at it again. Ryan Johnson. I have forgiven him because I love the Knives Out movies. I like Poker Face very much.
Gave him for what?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, for what? Honestly, he's fine. I only hate
No, you don't
J.J.
like
Abrams
Jedi.
now. I only hate
Oh,
J.J.
okay.
Abrams now.
Mike Eaton.
That's how bad Rise of
Um,
Skywalker was.
Yeah, we can all agree Rise of Skywalker is bad. We have mixed,
Uh-oh.
but yeah. So Poker Face is back, season 2. I haven't actually. I've only seen like the first 3 episodes. I have to catch up still. 'Cause I
Right.
just got behind on it, but I like the first 3 episodes. It feels like, obviously they wrapped up this whole. Last year she was being chased by Ron Perlman, the evil casino owner, and Benjamin Bratt, his henchman. That got wrapped up in that series finale, and then Rhea Perlman comes in as this other new casino owner, so she's got to go on the run again, right? And that's how the season 2 starts. You think, oh, it's going to be another season of that. Wrapped up in 3 episodes, that plot line.
Mm-hmm.
And now she is not being chased by anyone, but kind of just living her life on the road and trying to maybe find herself, figure out who she is or whatever. So
Yep.
how do we feel about that?
I think they got a lot of good guest stars. I've seen 7
Yes.
of these so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think, without giving anything away, the guest stars have been really strong. The Giancarlo Esposito and Katie Holmes one was pretty good if you haven't seen that
Right.
yet.
Funeral Home. I like the
Yep.
season premiere with Cynthia Erivo playing like 5 different parts. I thought that was a lot
Yes.
of fun. Playing quintuplets.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked. Ever heard of it?
There's a whole season of Girl Cop Detroit where it was all a dream inside the perp's head.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What?
She's playing quintuplets, all with different personalities who were child actors, and because of the way child actor regulations work, they could
They all played the
shoot
same
more.
role, a Mary Kate and Ashley
Yeah.
Olsen kind of thing, but
Exactly.
with one
It's a lot of
character.
fun.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Whack-A-Mole. We got John Mulaney has a great episode.
Yeah, that's great.
John
Number
Mulaney,
3.
yeah.
Yep.
I also fell off, unfortunately. I did one more than you, Jacob. 4. I got up to the
Mm.
Gator episode, Mike, which is the episode post the wrap up of the
Kumail
overarching
Nanjiani.
thing.
Yep. The Taste of
Yes,
Human Blood.
starring Camille. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that episode a lot too.
I don't know. I kind of lost my fire. I was so excited about it last season. It seemed like such must see TV, but not so much this year.
It's like been my cozy show. Like if I want to just eat dinner and throw something on that's going to be fun, that's when I usually do it. But I recommended it to my parents, and they've been texting me like, "Oh, we love it. We want finish the whole first season. We're into season 2." So,
Wow.
parents
Yeah, I
might
think
like
it's really
it.
fun. I mean, obviously, it's the new Columbo, right? It's a not a who done it, but a how
Catch 'em.
what's it?
I'll catch
How
him.
catch 'em.
Yes.
Ash
I lo-
Ketchum,
Ash
starring
Ketchum. And I loved, that someone's trying to do a sort of a procedural show like that, but also with season-long storylines and things like that. But you have Natasha Lyonne as this drifter character. She's got the special ability to know whenever anyone is lying.
bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of fun episodes. Like I said, a lot of great guest stars. Last season, I really liked the Joseph Gordon-Levitt episode. That one was really good.
Yeah.
And of course, he goes way back with Ryan Johnson. Brick, his first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how a lot of times they're commenting on, obviously, the film industry, the television industry. It's very meta in that way. And actually, did you know Natasha Lyonne has directed some episodes? She directed
That's right.
the one last season about the special effects guy,
Mm-hmm.
Nick Nolte, and then this season she directed that the funeral home one,
Yep.
which was about, again, a movie set, Giancarlo Esposito and all that.
Would you believe that he plays a bad guy?
Yeah.
Never.
So that's really cool that she's directing, and it seems like they just have a really good working relationship, Ryan Johnson and Natasha Lyonne. She did get in some trouble recently with that she's like founding this AI studio or something, and people
Oh,
were
no.
like, that's
don't
kind of
do that.
weird.
Don't tell me that.
So she's
You're
losing some of the goodwill that she had. But
He's investing
great in
heavily
this
into Duolingo.
yeah. But otherwise,
great show.
Yeah, I need to catch up on it, but I have been enjoying it so far.
And she's a producer on it too, but nobody could play this character. Like it's very much like has to be Natasha Lyonne.
I think it was written for
Charlie.
her. Like Ryan Johnson wrote the role for her.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of her as an actor. Like Orange is the New Black. That was kind of her big role in the 2010s, I guess. She's been in stuff since the 90s, but
since American Pie, I wanted her to smoke me like one of the cigarettes.
Oh, yeah,
that has
American
clearly
Pie.
huskied up her voice.
Mhm.
Yeah. God bless.
Yeah, it's interesting. She plays lesbian characters a lot, and I kind of always thought she was lesbian, but she's not. She's in a relationship with a man, I believe. In Orange is the New Black, she's a lesbian too, so she's good at playing that role, but not true in real life. So maybe you have a chance with her.
I remember a bit of Hollywood that what was his name? Michael Passarelli, an old actor from like that movie Michael, and a couple other films. He was also in the Arnold Schwarzenegger film Eraser. But he had one of those classic knock knock. Oh, I heard a noise. Blam 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 blam, and shot his wife to death. Who was in bed with him? A 16-year-old Natasha Lyonne.
Whoa.
Ooh.
No. Oh,
he would, of course, later commit suicide by doing too much heroin.
Oh, geez.
Well,
that's pretty dark. But she was in a relationship with Fred Armisen for a while. I don't know if they still are, but SNL actor. But I'm a cheerleader. She was in But I'm a Cheerleader.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. That's what a great setup was. That was, Mike, to talk about a TV show that we're all watching. I thought you were going to bring up the one we like, that universal praise all three of us is so into, of course, The Studio.
Yes, because we had seen a couple, I think on the previous Whatcha we mentioned it because there was a couple episodes out, but now it's wrapped up. So have you guys seen all of it now? I've seen it all.
I will say, I've seen everything except the very last episode because
the two-parter.
Yeah, well, I've seen the first part, but I haven't seen the second part of that. So because I've been, it's very nice of our friends Matt and Manette, friends of the pod, to let me use their Apple TV account. But I believe, I don't know if they changed their password or something.
Gasp.
I wasn't able to log in to watch the last episode, so I need to see what's going on there before I can catch up. But I've just been putting it off. So I saw part 1 of the finale with
They're going
what's
to
her name?
CinemaCon.
Catwoman eating a bunch of
Too many
Zoe
mushroom
Kravitz,
chocolates.
Ryan
Mushrooms.
Cranston.
Yeah.
We've also got Baby Franco.
David
Dave
Franco is so
Franco.
good in these episodes.
I like Adam Scott in the Emmys episode. Very funny. Where he's like, Sal Saperstein, he slept on my couch.
Sal Saperstein, yeah. So
Thank you, Sal Saperstein.
as we mentioned, kind of each episode is like, it's either in the style of a genre of film or about a aspect of filmmaking. So yeah, they have obviously the one about the awards show. They did the one that's like a noir with the missing reel, I believe we talked about.
One's
Right,
just
the
about
one
casting.
take.
Yeah, literally
Yeah, the
about casting, and that's a very funny episode too. We can't
And there's
make
a ton of
Kool-Aid Man,
cameos.
Ice Cube.
Of
Is it
people playing
racist?
themselves.
It'd be racist if I wasn't the Kool-Aid Man.
Right?
Ice Cube.
And he goes, "Fuck yeah, Ice Cube."
Fuck yeah, Ice Cube. Yeah, that whole episode.
And then they're
is
like talking
awesome.
about the ratio of like, oh well, so his wife should his wife be black? Should his wife be Asian? Sandra Oh or whoever? Like, just talking about the dynamics of
Nice.
who.
And
who
Catherine
they should
Hahn
cast.
is the marketing
Very
person,
funny.
is incredible in
Catherine
that show.
Hahn,
Yeah, like I can't sell that.
Baron Holtz, very funny cast. It is funny to see because like obviously there's a lot of actor and director cameos of people playing themselves.
Yeah.
But then I'm also thinking like, so wait, Dave Franco is himself, but Seth Rogen doesn't exist in this world. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's heady. And Jacob, you were quick to point out the directors who were actors, the Olivia Wildes, the Zoe Kazan, the Ron Howard.
Ron
even.
Howard, yeah.
Yeah, I think Martin
great.
Scorsese was great, a great get for the pilot too.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly,
Owen
yeah.
Klein, the kid who did Funny Pages or whatever that indie movie was called, and you get that whole episode from the assistant's point of view, like, Owen Klein's about to blow up. You don't even realize what you're fucking getting yourself into.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the director Smile. They're like making basically
a rip-off of Smile.
Rip it off Smile. I'm going to get the Smile guy to make it. It's a slam dunk.
Yeah, and getting those big, like all kinds of talent, like the real-life directors and stuff, it shows that, like, it's coming from, like, an earnest reverence for the film industry, and, like, that's why Scorsese's like, yeah, you know what? I could be on your show about why you love movies. Yeah, and how weird the industry is.
It's funny, like, the Seth Rogen character, Matt Remick, big year for Remix, by the way. You got Remick from Sinners, and you got Matt Remick.
Yeah, true.
But I think his character is so interesting, where he's the head of the studio. But he really like wants to make, art. He wants to make movies as art, but he also wants them to be financially successful. And then things just inevitably blow up in his face, and he always makes them worse somehow. He's just kind of a bumbling guy, but he has good
wants
intent.
to be liked as well by the talent, so he doesn't make the best business decision. Yeah.
No.
The award show one is so funny, where he's trying to get Zoe Kravitz to thank him in her acceptance speech the whole time. It's very funny stuff.
And then Sal just keeps getting shout out by Adam Scott, and he's not even trying to be in the spotlight, and that's frustrating him.
Shouting out Sal Saperstein.
Right. No, that's great. And like the writing, even to set up, like in the first episode where they're like, we got to make a Kool-Aid movie, and to tie that in with like the Jonestown thing, I was like, dude, this show is going crazy. Like, getting Scorsese,
and it all comes back in the end when they're talking about their slate of upcoming films. They've got the Kool-Aid, they've got like their Zoe Kravitz movie, they've got all these different movies. Very interesting stuff. So we're all big fans of the studio. And
I'm behind anything Seth Rogen's doing right now, basically.
Yeah, I think he's great.
Yeah, we have Invincible going, and I have some friends that are not like big film buffs. Like they text me like, "Yo, you've been watching the studio? This show is awesome." And I'm like, the whole second episode is about a oneer, and it is a oneer. And they're like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, watch it again." Like, what's a oneer? I'm like, "All right," but like, even without having the knowledge of the film, they just enjoyed kind of the antics of it. So you don't have to be a film buff to like it.
I think the Noir one's still my favorite. Zac Efron being so mad that they cut the party, and he's like, "I'm paying for it. I'm paying for the party."
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
don't invite him.
And with Olivia Wilde, I wonder how much of that, because there's so much drama behind that her movie
Right.
with Florence Pugh and all that
Don't
stuff.
worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling. Harry
Mm-hmm.
Styles. Yeah, but yeah, lots of great cameos and stuff. Ron Howard. We love it. Big fans of the studio.
Oh yeah. Because remember, making movies is just as important as pediatric oncology.
Important as
That's right.
curing kids cancer. Come on.
Say
What's
it.
on-
Say
yeah.
it's as important.
Dude, yeah, it's so funny. So yeah, watch the studio. Yeah, you're right, Colin. That's one that was I did not have written down, but we love that show.
And again, big big times for Catherine O'Hara. The Last of Us.
Yep.
Studio.
Yeah, she's great in this too.
Beetlejuice. She's got it going on.
The doctor who plays the guy who joins the group, who's like, "Oh, I'm sorry I was late. I was just doing this," and he kind of watches stuff, and Matt's like, "Oh, okay, that's Tech Knight from The Boys."
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, Tech Knight. Nice. Heck yeah. Don't love Tech
yeah,
Knight,
we love it.
the character, but
Oh, we
Good
love
to see a
him. We
cameo.
love Tech Knight. He's
Yeah.
in all that weird Seth Rogen stuff. He's in that Future Man show.
Oh, nice.
They need to get when are they going to get Anthony Starr on the studio?
Seriously.
Homelander himself.
I think also just shout out to their office. It's like I don't know where it's actually located in real life, but that old Art Deco building. I love the Continental Studios like offices. Like that building's super sick. I don't know where they actually shoot it, but
Right, and that's supposed to be
Classic
basically
Hollywood.
like Paramount or one of these other studios. It's essentially a take.
yeah,
on
generic.
that.
But it exists somewhere in real life. I'm just not sure where. I have one
But yeah.
small note in my pursuit of Japanese to bring that back around. I've been watching Terrace House, the Japanese like dating show where they put 6 people in a house and they just
Reality
film
show.
them. Reality
Is it cute,
show.
Mike? Would I like it with my mom if I was being
know-
like, "Hey, let's throw this on"?
I really don't like those kind of shows at all, but I threw it on and then I did find it very endearing. I got hooked pretty early. One of the women on the show was a hockey player, so maybe that helped sell me on it. But she was very sweet. And yeah, and I found myself actually like getting invested in the storylines of these strangers. But mostly I was doing it to just listen to everyday current Japanese like conversation just to kind of get listening practice.
It's kind
And
of
I got
like
hooked.
Big Brother or The
Right.
Bachelor kind of thing.
But with less producer interference to create drama. It's a little,
It's
it's
kinda like
more
the real-
natural.
The Real World used to be like MTV's
Yeah.
The Real World, where there's people in a house
is-
living their daily lives, basically.
That's a
Yeah.
great way. It's the Great British Bake Off of Real World.
Yeah, it's cozy. Like there's some
Yeah,
drama,
no
but it's not
conflict.
like Jersey Shore, you know. It's very chill. So
Yeah.
I ended up watching 50 episodes, and now
Oh
I'm
my
on
God.
a second series. I watched Opening New Doors. That's the one in Karuizawa. Now I'm watching Boys and Girls in the City, which is in Tokyo.
And they all swap out, right? They're not coming back and forth.
No, like sometimes
The new
if people become a couple, they'll leave the house and then new members will come in. So they kind
Okay.
of, the season I watched, we probably had over 10 to 12, maybe 10 different members total, starting with 6.
Wow.
So that we had at least one complete turnover by the time it was all done. But yeah, so that was just part of my Japanese
Terrace House.
lessons, and now I'm hooked on it.
That's
Terrace
something
House-
I've been aware of for a
Mhm.
long time, like even back in like 2015, I think is maybe when I first became aware
I think,
of it.
yeah, Netflix, I think, got the rights in 2016 or something like that, and like basically picked it up. It was a TV show in Japan, and they picked up the rights and started making it basically international. So, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, on that note, I can talk about another Japanese show that I've been watching.
That's right.
Again, yeah, with learning, trying to learn some Japanese, it's good to like have some exposure to people
Look
speaking.
at what Ghibli has done to us. We're hooked.
I'm proud of us.
But I'm talking about the HBO Max show Tokyo Vice.
Oh, wow.
This might be, I think, a show I mentioned before on the podcast. Season
Mhm.
1 was back in like 2023 or something. Season 2 came out last year, 2024. It did get canceled after 2 seasons, but I am now catching up on season 2 because I never finished it.
Mhm.
And I think it's a good show. I'm kind of sad that it got canceled, but This is the show where Michael Mann directed the pilot. But it's based on a real life story, but very much embellished, dramatized. But it's about the American journalist Jake Adelstein, who
I know why you like it.
Very
Jake's
similar name to me. Yeah, Jake's son. But Jake Adelstein, he moves to Japan, becomes a journalist for like the biggest newspaper in Tokyo. He's like the first gaijin reporter that gets hired by this. This is set in like 1999. And so he works for a Japanese newspaper, and he's very into like the Yakuza. So he's an investigative journalist. He's kind of looking into the Yakuza, and which is the organized crime in Japan. Similar to like the mafia here, but different. They have a lot of different customs and things, obviously in a very Japanese way. They're different than America. So, but still doing, organized crime type shit. But it's
You
a great,
said,
yeah.
well, what got you into the show? And this is a direct quote from you, I think. You said it's because you run a Facebook fan page called Ansel and Gretel, which is an Ansel Elgort, Greta Thunberg, some sort of shipping page. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll say
better.
we'll go with that. Yeah, obviously the main character, Jake Adelstein, is played by Ansel Elgort, who apparently not a good guy. Not a good guy, is for what I hear.
Your
I don't
hero?
know. Not my hero. I don't condone any bad things that he's doing. Don't know all the details, but he was accused of some things that are bad, probably.
Probably the reason the show is canceled. Does the rest of the cast carry over? Rinko Kikuchi?
Yeah. So this is the thing. So I don't know if that's why it was canceled. I think it was just canceled due to low viewership. But it's obviously he's the main character, but it's really a great ensemble cast because you have Rinko Kikuchi, you have Ken Watanabe. Let them fight. And he plays the old grizzled detective who's like trying to stop the Yakuza. And because there's all these customs in Japan and the way they report like murders, there's like no murder in Japan because a lot of times it's just reported as an accident or something like that, because the more murders you have, if you don't close the case, then that looks bad for your stats. So the Japanese way is to just not call it murder, and then it's not an open murder case, right? So there's a lot of that where it's like, that surface level politeness,
saving
but underneath
face.
there's like, yeah,
right.
So he's actively like getting stopped by higher ups in the police and saying like, don't look into this, like you're just causing problems and that kind of thing.
This thing goes all the way to the top.
Yeah. So it's really about the dark underbelly of Tokyo. But it's a great ensemble. You've got a young Yakuza guy that's a great Japanese actor. Let me look up his name quick.
And you've been pitching me on this for a couple days now. As we've been talking about your Japanese learning.
Show.
Yeah, I gotta get on it for sure.
It's very sort of noirish crime thriller. Sho Kazumatsu plays this young Yakuza guy who's kind of having second thoughts about his lifestyle and everything. And then there's a young woman that
Shohei Ohtani.
A young woman that plays another American gaijin who works at a hostess club. That's this hostess club is sort of owned by the Yakuza and stuff, so she kind of gets caught up in all this. And so there's just a great ensemble cast, and it's really good. So it's not all just about Ansel Elgort's character. Like he's the main character, but it's really more of an ensemble than you would think. And Ken Watanabe is great. He's doing some great acting in season 2. And the Yakuza stuff is really interesting. They have all these great like Japanese character actors who just look so like cool as these Yakuza guys. All very 90s aesthetic because it's like set in 1999. So like it's like the early age of the internet and stuff. It's just like, man, it makes Tokyo look so cool. It makes me want to live there. But
Tamagotchis.
And then season 2, he's now Jake is investigating bicycle gangs, people who not bicycle, motorcycle gangs.
Back.
Oh, like,
And people who like steal motorcycles and then strip them for parts and stuff. And there's this whole network of like motorcycle theft that he's like trying to get. So he's like getting in with these motorcycle guys that are like super cool and stuff.
are they like
so.
the Bosuzoku guys? Where they got big
Exactly,
fins
yeah,
on the back of their bike, the Bosuzoku
Yeah.
gang motorcycle
Bosuzoku.
culture? Okay, cool.
You guys ever
Yeah.
seen Black Rain, the Michael Douglas?
No, that's
Japanese cop movie.
but that's directed by Ridley Scott.
That's right.
I haven't seen it,
It's horrible.
but I love that. Yeah, I mean it's a great series, so I recommend it. Like, wasn't appreciated enough, I guess, and got canceled after 2 seasons, but I think it's good.
Well, yeah, no, and that just reminds me of a movie, because we talked about 28 Days Later, and they have Godspeed You Black Emperor. There's a documentary, I think, on Bosuzoku called Black Emperor. No, it's Godspeed You Black Emperor. It's a documentary about Bosuzoku Motorcycle Club. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I have to check that out.
That's cool.
there you go. Anyway, a little tie-in.
So Tokyo Vice, check it out. Big fan, and that's what I've been catching up on recently.
Hell yeah, Colin. What else? You got anything else you've been watching? TV.
I have no current ongoing shows. I'm thinking about starting Murderbot now that it's on Apple TV.
Oh yeah, I was
Murderbot.
considering that too. With one of the Skarsgårds.
And that's the one. Okay, yeah, where he's like a robot.
It's some
Here's the
sort
thing,
of
I
book
was-
adaptation that my brother seems to have read all of them, and it's like his
Mm.
favorite series.
I saw the trailer. I was disappointed when he changes his face from a robot to like his actual face. And I know they did that to just like they had to like show his face, but I thought it would have been better if he was just a robot the whole time instead of having
Yeah,
Skarsgård's face, you know?
that seems annoying. Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, I might have to check it out though. I like sci-fi stuff, so
Yeah.
you know.
So there's some good options for TV. Oh, the last thing I'll say is that I something that Colin I know is a big fan of, has talked about before. I've been getting into Pluto TV.
Oh wow.
We love Pluto TV.
Boy, do we.
Their streaming channels are great where I just turn it on. And this kind of, I've known about Pluto TV obviously for a while, but I've been getting into it more recently where I'll just turn it on and there's obviously a bunch of different channels that it's like old TV where it's just playing constantly, and whenever you turn it on, you can't pause
Kids
it or rewind
used to
it.
just be able to turn the TV on and stuff would just play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So it takes me back to a time when you could just watch TV. And there's these channels, like there's the Star Trek channel that just plays Next Generation episodes on a loop forever, right? And so I'll literally just turn it on just to have some background noise, and I'll just leave it on for, all day while I'm doing stuff. And there's a channel I like a lot, which is the Cheers and Frasier. Those episodes of
The
Cheers and
and
Frasier.
Frasier universe.
Okay, I wasn't familiar with your game, King. Yes, I will be absolutely adopting that channel. I do
Check out the Cheers and
Reaction, which is just 80s action movies.
Mm.
Jacob, was the kickoff the animal? For me, it was having a cat. I just like to put something on for the cat. So
I actually recently just started using it a lot because I looked up where's 28 Days Later streaming. Where can I watch that? Oh, it's on Pluto TV. Let me watch it on Pluto TV. And then I was like, man, you know what? These channels are actually great. And it's so cool. Like I love all the old TV where it's like all this stuff is just on there, like old westerns, there's a Columbo channel that's just playing old episodes of Columbo 24 hours a day. There's a classic Doctor Who channel that's literally just playing the old Doctor Who, like 60s and 80s Doctor Who episodes. I'm like, man, this is my shit right here. Okay.
Nice.
There's old sci-fi, old westerns, old, even like I Love Lucy, old shows like that, playing 24 hours a day. And it's all free. This is free.
Yeah.
ad supported. There's something about our brains, and I think it's from the generation that we're from, where it's like, just if you select something, like there is something interesting to it. But Mike, tomorrow, if you're like, I sat down, I wanted to watch Ready Player One, I typed it in, I selected it, I'd be like, oh, that's cool that you saw that. But there's something different to like Jacob being like, you know what I fucking turned on the other day? I turned on Pluto TV. It's 42 minutes into Ready Player One where they're doing the Shining sequence. You remember that? And then immediately I'm just so much more engaged that it's like, oh, you found this weird thing that you're sharing with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels much more exploratory.
Yeah. I was in
think it is.
Vegas Well, I was say in that vein, on a family trip,
Yeah.
and one day me and my dad just stayed in the room hanging out, and we just turned on the TV, and we were like, "Oh shit, it's True Lies," and then it was like, "Oh shit, it's Running
God.
Man," "Oh shit, Demolition Man," and we just
Oh,
watched all these
feel like
80s movies.
perfect afternoon.
That
It
is-
was wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that is an experience you get like only going to like a hotel now, where it's like because people
Yes.
don't have normal TV anymore, right? Like
No.
when we were growing up, when we were in high school, maybe you had TiVo or DVR or something, but it's mainly you just turn to a channel and just watch whatever is on. You know, TNT's playing some movie.
Yeah, but
You just
like
watch it from when you turned it
literally
on.
like 3
Mhm.
days ago, I spent a week in a hotel. And let me tell you, every day, no matter what time you turn it on, you're like, 4 different channels are playing Family Guy episodes. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
make any
Oh, sure.
sense.
Yeah,
Law
fucking-
and Order,
a lot of
Family Guy. Like you
syndication.
just don't get it anymore.
Yeah, that's why I love Pluto TV, because you have these niche channels where it's like, yeah, Star Trek, classic Doctor Who, old TV shows. You can watch, you know, the
Wagon
Addams
Train,
Family.
The Rifleman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like literally, yeah, shows like that. Uh,
Have gun will
Just-
travel.
yeah,
Nice.
and it's like all that stuff. Like I wouldn't even know where to find that on streaming. Like if I wanted to watch those on demand, so I'll just turn it to this channel, and you can just sit there and watch an old black and white show or something. It's like, man, this is what TV used to be. And I think maybe our generation is the last to experience that kind of TV, where it's like Zoomers have always had streaming, always had on demand. Whatever you want to play, you can probably put it on your TV right now. Where it's back in the day, you would turn to a channel and be like, oh, they're playing, you know, James Bond, you know, what?
Well,
The
we
Living
saw like
Daylights or
310 to Yuma randomly. It was like, oh shit, 310
Yeah.
to Yuma, like the remake. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's watch this.
Right.
But
Yeah, last time I
my
was in a hotel with my
schedule-
my mom and stepdad, and we turned it on. It was playing War of the Planet of the Apes. And we started
Nice.
watching that a little bit, and I was explaining the Planet of the Apes
You're like, "What?"
franchise to my mom.
kind of an expert
Yeah.
on this. This you used to plan your schedule around when stuff was airing and what day
Yeah.
it was on.
They would mail a book to your house that would tell you when things were going to be on and
Right.
what channel
Called
they
the
would
TV
be on.
Guide.
You would circle it and you'd say, "I call dibs on the TV, the one we owned, at 9 o'clock on Thursday." And my dad would be, "Why?" And I'd be like, "Because I'm allowed to."
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember I used to go home from work after when I was in high school. I worked at a grocery store. I would come home late at night, put on Adult Swim, and just watch Futurama, Family Guy,
Whatever was on.
whatever
dude.
was
Mhm.
playing at the time. I was like, man, it's like 10:30 at night. I'm watching Futurama. This is like in the basement. Like this is like the best that life's probably ever going to be.
There is
Uh,
something about the just seeing what's on as opposed to the
Yeah.
decision paralysis of like, there's too much for me to sift
Yeah.
through. I don't know what I want to watch. To have Pluto TV, where you just, I don't know, Star Trek channel, sure, that's fine.
When I was in high school, we did get a what's it called? A DVR.
So you could
Um,
record.
like
Oh, that was the
TiVo
revolution.
specifically?
TiVo.
Or a-
I got a
yeah,
TiVo.
TiVo.
And you could actually record stuff
Ooh.
for the first time. It's like, okay, I'm recording this, and then me and my siblings would fight over because there's a limited storage of what you could, record. They're like,
Eventually, you could
"Don't-" I'm
record like
"Don't
2 or
delete
3
this,
channels
like, I
at
still need to
once.
watch this.
Yeah, it
you
was
could
the
record on a
greatest
different
gift
channel
I
that you were
ever
watching.
gave. I bought my
Yeah.
dad TiVo one year after I had like my first big boy job, and to watch him spend a full 24 hours, little glasses on, Googling things, or literally looking at the TV guide, being like, "Oh, Austin city limits." AUST. Colin, look, it brings up. I can record a year's worth going forward. I'd be like, go to town. Like,
Go
this is
crazy.
great. Do it, dude.
I mean, we're really dating ourselves, but to go to the air, it's much better than having to program the VCR to set a record timer for a certain
Oh, yeah.
time,
Yeah.
record to a
You could just
VHS.
record things digitally, and you could have
Mhm.
a library of things that you recorded on your device. And yeah, me and my siblings would fight over the limited space. Oh, I haven't watched that yet. Don't delete that. Oh, you can delete this. I
Don't
just
use
watched
that
this.
tape.
My sister trying to record One Tree Hill. I'm like, there's too many episodes of One Tree Hill on here. Come on.
This is so. I feel like we're into our gaming section here. We're moving over to our Whatcha, but I've
Yeah.
got kind of the perfect bridge.
Ooh.
And that the thing that I want to talk about, the big major development in my life is, I used my mother's Facebook Marketplace, a thing I don't have. I don't have social media like that outside of Letterboxd. And I had her put in our area a CRT television, a cathode ray tube television, which is the old gigantic box monitor style television. Gentlemen, I paid $25 for a 19-inch Magnavox TV
Okay.
that probably made my tires go up in the air as we put it in the trunk. It's so fucking heavy and big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, that is awesome. So
Great.
what are you doing with it right
Some
now?
video games on there.
I'm watching old tapes. I'm hooking up old systems. I'm doing what we're talking about in that I'm catering my media a little more away from streaming in a way that I'm proud of. I've always been a heavy DVD guy and trying to watch stuff on physical, but this is a new area for me that I'm very excited to explore.
No, that is awesome. I remember when we would play Smash Brothers at our old workplace that we used to work at. Like someone had
CRT.
thrown a CRT out. It was like not in the dumpster, but it was just in the parking garage in my building. And I'm like,
Grab it.
I grabbed it, took it. I didn't even know if it worked, but I grabbed it, took it to the office, and like got like a remote app on my phone to program it and like turn it on because there was no remote, but it worked. And then we played Smash Brothers 64 on the CRT, and like
Mike and I,
can't be
when
beat.
we worked together a couple years ago, a bunch of people in our office got really into playing N64 Smash Brothers. We all had our own controllers. You know, I bought a controller online. I was like, "This is my N64
I got an
controller."
import
No one
from
else can use
Japan.
it. Yeah, you had the
very weird one.
fancy import.
Yeah, it was
and
a
we had the
cult.
CRT TV. It was good times.
But yeah, it was great playing 64 Smash, and like you got to do it on a CRT. It just doesn't hit the same, you know, with like flat
Absolutely.
screens and stuff. So what are you
Way it
hooking
was
up
meant
to
to
it?
look.
Yeah, what are you gonna put on your Magnavox?
You know what? So it only has one AV port. It has a built-in tape deck that does not work. I've tried to
Okay.
do a little repair on that. That's just a no-go.
Mm.
I have a combination VCR DVD player from my dad's old stuff that takes one AV cable, hooked that bad boy in, it's great.
Mhm.
When I pop that thing out, and let me tell you, the VHS quality is horrible. The DVDs actually look okay on the thing.
Okay.
But when I pop that out, I'm usually hooking up the Wii or the Xbox 360. I very
Okay.
recently purchased The Simpsons Road Rage, and I've been
sure.
playing a shit ton of that, and it's been
Oh, The
great.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Hit and
Yeah.
run.
That
Oh,
one.
that's what
okay.
it is. I'm sorry. Yeah. Classic.
That's right.
Classic.
Oh, that's a lot
That was
of
kind of
fun.
like the Crazy Taxi, Simpsons Crazy Taxi kind of ripoff.
Well, there's two.
Yeah.
I've got the one
Okay.
that's like the Grand Theft Auto spinoff. So
Oh,
what the
yes,
hell is
yes.
that one called?
Ooh,
That might be Hit and Run. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Hit
Or Road
and
Rash.
Run.
Road Rage. I can't remember.
Yeah, it looks like GTA. Looks like you can get out of the car and run around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
Hit
And
and
it's
run.
great. I love it.
Nice.
Get
Yeah,
a
and the
lot
Wii
of
was a
nostalgia.
480p console, like of its day. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Get a GameCube. Play some classic Resident Evil 4 on that bad boy. That would go crazy.
I'm trying to track down
yeah.
a Dreamcast and a GameCube.
Ooh,
Dreamcast.
nice, dude.
Yeah.
I bet there's Free Cycle and yeah, Facebook Marketplace. People have got to be just getting rid of those.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess the Wii can
I
play
still have a
GameCube
360.
games, so you should be good.
It's so I've got the old one that has the drive. Obviously, if you buy the Wii U, it upscales from 480p to 1080. You get like full HD Wii games. My classic Wii, for some reason, the GameCube drive seems to not be working.
Ah,
So
bummer.
it needs a little tender love as well.
Dang, I gotta.
Obviously, you're going to want to get the game I played a lot in GameCube, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
I would get all the Harry Potter games if I could, dog. I love
Wind
that.
Waker.
I
Wind
love
Waker.
Wind Waker, Mike.
That's probably my favorite Zelda game is Wind Waker.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't played a ton of them.
Twilight
That
Princess.
sounds
You ever
fun.
played Twilight Princess? Yeah.
I didn't like Twilight Princess as much.
Okay.
I just like the cell shading and the boats. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, Wind Waker definitely had a good aesthetic to it for sure.
Yeah, I haven't played the HD remake, but I would rather play it on a CRT or, you know, I remember I got a 64 when I was working at Taco Bell when I was like 16. I got it a little bit later, but I would just come back from Taco Bell with like a giant thing of nachos, whatever, my free food, and I would just play Ocarina of Time like all night. And it was like some of the
hell
best
yeah.
memories, you know, that's
You were
16
doing
years
that
ago.
while I came home and watched the Venture Brothers on Adult Swim in my basement.
Yeah.
That's right.
Seriously.
20 years
We
ago.
can
I
only
hate
go back
saying
to those
that.
times. Yeah.
I was walking home from the Micro Center.
Oh, we had Radio Shacks, listeners.
Radio
We
Shack,
had
yep.
Radio Shacks. You could go in and buy component level electronics, just a switch or an LED. You could get one of them. What a time to be alive. Now I can only get a minimum of 100 on
Right.
Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically everything was better when we were young, obviously.
To bring us all the way back to the beginning of the episode, yes, the times we were living in, it was a lot better before. Yeah,
Yeah,
seemed
well, we
like
had
there
this
was
thing
a
called
future.
9/11, but
we had a
Well, yeah.
future. Yeah,
we had the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, also bad things going on, but you know
all
what?
good.
It
no,
was all
it's
good. We're
fine.
playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
I was playing the demo disc from Pizza Hut with one level,
Yeah.
and Kareem Campbell and Tony Hawk is the only playable skaters, and Goldfinger is the only song.
Hell yeah.
It was the
So
best.
truly, that's all I've been up to gaming wise. What have you guys been playing? It's been about, I should say, a month since I've played Marvel Rivals. Have you guys been jamming
Wow.
out together?
You've
Well,
not been on at all with the
I've not
Marvel
been on in a
Rivals?
month. No.
I have been
Colin, you gotta
jamming.
get back on.
Yeah, we've been playing a little bit.
We've
I
been jamming.
have. Yeah, my big update is I made it to Platinum 3.
Wow.
The highest rank
Wow.
I've ever made it in a competitive video game is Platinum 3.
Congrats.
Thank
Howdy.
you. Did it all as a
Of course,
tank.
so you're a tank main. I'm a support main.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really been able to play ranked recently together because I kind of got a little ahead of you in the
You're
ranked
too
game.
good.
My highest level now is Diamond 1.
Wow.
So obviously it goes bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, grandmaster, and then there's like celestial, eternity,
One
and then,
above
like, one
all or
above all.
something. Yeah.
But
Oh, I thought you were a lot closer to one above all than I thought, I guess.
no, there's so many levels. Like diamond
Jeez.
sounds impressive, but it's really kind of in the middle of all the
Yeah.
levels. But you're
Grandmaster
getting into
is like the
high
beginning
level.
of actually being good, I think.
Yeah, or even diamond. Yeah, diamond's kind of the transition between low elo and high elo, I guess, considered in Marvel Rivals.
But to get
Like
to
the
Diamond
net-
is impressive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
higher than I've ever been. Like last season, I got to like I got to Diamond 3. I think was previously my highest level in a season, and so now I'm 2 levels above that at Diamond 1, trying to hit Grandmaster
Wow.
soon. And yeah, but I'm proud of you for getting the plat. That's very good. I know you're
Yeah.
stuck in gold for a long time. Sometimes you just get in a rut where you're getting bad teammates. You get kind of, hard stuck for a while at a certain level.
The teammates did improve, as you said, once I kind of transitioned to plat, where it's like people know what they're doing, actually. The coordination's better. I did turn on the voice chat just to listen to them when they're describing stuff, and it's helped. But yeah, the update...
It is such a... Sorry.
No, it's
such
team-based.
a team-oriented game where it's like there's only so much you can do as an individual. If you have
That's what got
one
me
or
off it.
2 bad teammates, like
If I can't hook up with you guys.
And I normally
we can
don't
play quick play together.
like these kind of games, but I don't know, whatever reason I'm hooked. There's a new update with Penny and Rocket. They have a team up, so now Penny gets a second nest, and Rocket also gets a nest that makes mines. So it is a menace right now. Like Penny is getting banned all over the place because Penny and Rocket are diabolical right now in the amount of space they can take up.
We've played some Penny Rocket together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a support man, so I've lorded multiple support characters. I've got Rocket, I've got Luna Snow, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, Cloak and Dagger, all lords for me, all supports. So I can kind of switch around based on team comp who I want to go with. And there's also like a Luna Hawkeye team up this season that's very effective. It gives Hawkeye ice arrows so you can freeze someone. Very effective. So I've been playing some Luna this season, playing a lot of Cloak and Dagger, playing some Invisible Woman, and loving the old Marvel Rivals.
They're keeping it fresh with the new team ups. They have a Sharknado now where Storm and Jeff can team up, and it's a Sharknado where everybody gets swallowed up in Storm's tornado. They made the meme for real.
Ultron, the new character released is Ultron.
Flying
and
healer.
He's a support. He's a flying support. He puts his little drone. He's got passive healing, and then he's sort of a DPS support hybrid in the same way that like Mr. Fantastic is a tank DPS hybrid. The 2 new characters this season have been Emma Frost and Ultron. Very successful new additions so far, and I feel really good about the longevity of this game because it's so much new content they keep releasing. They're going to release one new character every month, like starting with
Yeah.
season 3, which is crazy. That's going to be, we're going to have like 8 new characters by the end of this year. So
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
pretty crazy. Yeah, so they're doing good. Yeah, I'm pretty much just playing Emma and Penny, but I'm learning Magneto. I need to learn some more because I've lorded Emma, Mother. I've lorded Penny, so I need to
Loves
get some
tank.
variety. But yeah, I've been doing
Doctor
that.
Strange is my go-to when I need to play tank. I did get the Magneto bionic skin where he looks like a Borg or something. Very
He's
cool
like half
looking.
cyborg because of Ultron. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a really sick skin.
And I got the bionic Hawkeye as well from doing the extra curricular homework stuff that you got to do.
Mhm.
But Colin, we got to get you back into this game. We got to play some quick plays together.
Yeah.
For real.
Did you see
Gotta get Joe on there. Yeah.
the Peach Momoko skins? Is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was
Those
a
are
little
all,
while
man.
ago.
Hard,
That's the other thing.
hard.
So many aesthetic skins they release all the time. New costumes and stuff, and it just keeps people engaged with the game, I think. So there's some criticism, they can make of their matchmaking algorithms and stuff. Kind of feels at times unfair. Like you'll get games where essentially it's a scheduled loss, where it's like there's really nothing you can do but just lose this game because of your teammates or
Boo.
whatever.
And there's other games
they
where
have
like
this-
it's inevitable that you will win. Like I could put the controller down and we would still steamroll them.
Yeah. And it's so sometimes you steamroll, sometimes you get steamrolled. They use a thing called apparently engagement oriented matchmaking, EOMM, for their algorithm kind of, and
I don't like that.
there's some criticism. It's designed to keep people engaged, like for maximum engagement, which you could say it's not exactly fair, but it's people had a lot of problems with skill-based matchmaking in like recent Call of Duties and things like that. So there's different ways of doing it. So they all have their upsides and downsides. But overall, I think I'm pretty positive on the game so far.
Yeah. And overall, yeah, I still enjoy it. It's the only game like this I play in Marvel. It's like the best thing that Marvel has done besides Thunderbolts. Like really, and they
Yeah.
haven't. It's just NetEase.
You
Very true.
usually don't play games like this. I've always been a fan of like first-person shooter or third-person shooter games.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty competitive, so I like to play games like those and get really competitive about it. So I've been enjoying playing it.
I
Marvel's
think.
having a small renaissance. They have the Spider-Man game. They have this new fighting game.
Oh, that's right. There's a new
Yeah.
fighting game. That's true. Um,
They have Marvel Snap
Yeah,
mobile game.
Yeah.
going in the mobile
Card
world.
based.
Mike, what are you playing solo right now when you're not?
yeah. This is, I guess, a throwback. Sort of. I got Doom: The Dark Ages recently.
Wow.
So that's the medieval Doom game. So the third of the Bethesda takeover vid software. So 2016, Doom Eternal, and then now Doom: The Dark Ages. So I've been playing that. And I've been playing the Doom franchise since it was called Wolfenstein 3D on a floppy disk. I've been
Yeah, dude. This
been
is
playing
one
these
of
my whole
your
life.
games
Killing
that
Yeah.
I consider like Mike's opinion on the Doom franchise. I'm like, well, hold on. I gotta hear what Mike thinks about this.
Yeah, so this is a franchise that I absolutely love. I've made YouTube videos during like COVID about the Doom history of the game Doom and stuff. So I'm a big fan of it. The two Johns, John Carmack and John Romero, the gods of they invented the first person shooter, so we wouldn't have Halo without them. But this one, Doom: The Dark Ages, it's medieval. I don't really understand the lore, but we're on Terok Nor, whatever. That's the Star Trek. But we're on
Iraq War, yes.
the demon planet that we've heard about. We're on like the demon home
Cardassians
planet
there.
that just happens to be medieval looking. But the big change is you have a shield. You're Captain America now. You have a shield with a saw on it. You can throw it. You can like teleport at people and bash them with it. So that's
For
the
the
whole
combat, overall, like the flow of the combat is a little slower.
Mhm.
It's a little more. It's not as fast paced as like the other Dooms. But
Yeah.
how do you feel about
thing. That's what I feel. I feel like I know they wanted to mix it up, from Doom and Doom Eternal, but I don't think Doom guy should have a shield. I think it's out of character for him to be carrying a defensive weapon.
it?
And it is slower because you do have to take time to you have to block projectiles or parry. Like, so there's a parry mechanic, and you do spending more time like defensively waiting to counterattack, as opposed to the other games. You were like very much incentivized to push. You got everything from being aggressive. You're ammo, your health packs, everything was a reward for being more aggressive. And this has a slightly more passive play style that I'm not loving. It's still a Doom game. It's still fun. But I think Doom Eternal is the peak. They call it the Doom Dance, the peak of the combat loop.
Yeah.
But it's still cool. You got a gun that pulverizes skulls and shoots out the shards of the skulls at enemies. Like, it's got some fun stuff. I
Very
haven't
cool.
unlocked the BFG yet.
Right.
But it's still a weaker, I think, weapon
Let me tell
roster
you-
than other games.
Okay. My other problem with it, and I haven't played it or anything,
Mhm.
but no Mick Gordon soundtrack.
That
And
too.
of course, Mick Gordon had a very public sort of falling out with Bethesda, or whatever
Id.
the company that makes the id software. But those Mick Gordon soundtracks were so important to those first two Doom games, right?
Yeah.
So
So
it's like, I don't know how you feel about the soundtrack in this game, but I'm sure it's not as good as Rip and Tear and those kind
and
of
BFG
those
Division.
awesome hard rock songs. Yeah.
Exactly. No, those still slap. Yeah, I was really upset when Doom Eternal released that they didn't give Mick Gordon final mix, and in a lot of the tracks in that game, even though he produced them, they were like didn't hit as much as Doom 2016. They were still really good because he made them. And this game, it's a notable loss of talent. Like the soundtrack, like they're trying to do it, but I have like the music turned all the way up and sound effects turned kind of down, and it's just they're not bops. Like they're trying to do it, they just can't do it. So the music is taking a hit as well. So I'm just like, shouldn't have screwed with my guy Mick Gordon, man.
They didn't treat him well. I blame the company. Like they don't treat they weren't treating their talent how they should be treated. So the music is so important to that 2016 Doom game to me, that it's like, how can you take that such an important element out of the game?
And that is going all the way back to the original Doom with that it's like heavy metal and Doom are hand in hand from their birth. So to have Mick Gordon come out with this like blazing soundtrack to go with the modern Doom, it was so perfect. And then you screw him over in the second game, and he's noticeably absent from this one. And they're leaning into gimmicks. There's like levels where you have a dragon that's super badass too, and you got a dragon, and then you get a giant robot, and it's badass too. So you get these kind of gimmick levels.
I like it.
So they're trying to add novelty to it. So it's fun. It's pretty metal, but I think Doom Eternal is the peak of the gameplay loop, and sonically 2016 is peak because that was just full Mick Gordon going crazy. But I'm having fun.
Yeah.
So that's my assessment. After like 20 hours? Yeah.
That's great. I can talk about
what about you?
What I've been playing solo when I'm not playing Marvel Rivals recently. And I've been playing a little game called V Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you guys heard of this game at all?
Nope,
V
never heard.
Rising.
I've heard of it from
V-Rising.
you a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, V Rising. It's a game. It was in early access for a while. It had its full release in 2024. It's a game by Stunlock Studios, and it's a open world, top down sort of isometric game. It's a survival, crafting, building game. It's also an action RPG.
Very Jacob coded.
Yes, the I love those survival crafting games. That's totally my jam. And it's got this action RPG element where you're fighting these different bosses throughout the world. There's like over 50 unique bosses, and you get different things for defeating all of them. So it's got that Dark Souls aspect to it where you're fighting these different bosses. The combat is very it's sort of bullet hell. It's if you played Hades, it's very similar to like Hades, where it's that top-down perspective. You play, so I should say it's also a vampire game. It's about, you play as a vampire, a recently arisen vampire, and you're out in this open world. You're killing things, you're looting, you're getting different weapons, different spells, and then you're taking on these bosses. And the depth of the combat, the way you can build your character is so crazy, where you have these different spells and things, AoE effects. They have all kinds of different, you can have buffs, you can have defensive spells and things. And you also have different weapons, so you can use ranged weapons, you can use swords, axes, whatever. So there's just so much different ways you can do the combat. and then you're also going around and you're gathering different materials. You're building your castle, and there's the depth of the building aspect is so good too. So a lot of times in these building crafting games, they don't always have the best combat, right? Because they're
Yeah.
focused so much on the survival aspect or the
Right,
building
right.
aspect. But even something like Valheim, which is a game I liked a lot, the combat is a little more rudimentary. It's still fun, but
Bare
doesn't have the
bones.
depth of this game.
No.
Mm.
Yeah. So this game, it's just so good because the building and crafting is so in depth. The combat is so in depth. It doesn't shirk either of those for the other one. Um, and so it's got a great balance to it. And there's so many options for building your castle, decorating it,
Mm-hmm.
putting down different machines. The progression is so good, and I've just really gotten into it, and I love it so much. The game you can play co-op. It's kind of, or you can play solo. It's a PVE game. There's PvP elements too, where you can take on other players and duel if you want to do that. Test out different builds. But it's sort of a game that's meant to be played co-op. Like some of the
Right.
bosses are like,
Oh,
you can
wow.
tell like this is meant to be taken on as a party kind of. But you can also play it solo, and that's what I've been doing. But
Hmm.
it's just a blast. I love it.
Well, if crafting, sign you up, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's like you're literally building your vampire castle brick by brick because you start with, you're putting down basic wooden walls just to get a little foundation going. Then you're getting stone bricks, so you're building that up. Then you're getting all kinds of different decorations you can put. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just making my castle bigger and bigger, adding decorations, adding a outside garden area where I can grow different
Vampire
crops and
Crossing.
things.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that, Mike.
Yeah,
And then you can
that sounds
also
fun.
there's so much you can do in this game. You can literally you can make you can make humans your thralls, make them your servants, and then you can send them out on raids to gather materials and stuff. So it's sort of a passive material gathering
Okay, yeah.
gameplay aspect to it. But you can you're also so you're biting different things, and you can get different blood types, which gives you different buffs and stuff like that. So you're biting a creature, you're getting creature blood, or you're getting warrior blood, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a blood quality. So the better blood quality it is, the stronger your buffs are. So you can try to get that 100% blood quality.
Okay, yeah, got to get that
Um,
good blood.
yeah, and you can also turn into different forms. So like I can go in a wolf form, so I can run around as a wolf, or a bat form, or bear form, or rat form, all different ones that you can unlock. Um, and you can even capture people as your prisoner and put them in your little dungeon, and then you can draw their blood to get different effects. You don't have to go out in the wild to find blood. You can just have a
you
home
just,
blood supply.
you just have a blood bank, as it were.
Yeah. And then there's
Nice.
like a day and night cycle. So the night's longer than the day. So the day is like a half of the night. So, but during the day cycle, if you go outside, you got to be careful. You got to stay in the shade, because if you're out in the sun too long, you'll start to burn up, like a vampire, and you'll die.
Hmm.
So you're so if you get caught out in the day, you're kind of going from shade to shade, shadow to shadow, trying to stay alive. Um, and then there's a day night cycle. It's so good. And like, it really takes the vampire thing into effect, where it's like, there's garlic exposure. If you get exposed to garlic, you take damage from that. Or there's coins, right, that you can trade with merchants for different things. And there's bronze coins, and then there's silver coins. But if you
Oh,
have
yeah.
silver coins, in your inventory, you'll slowly take damage the longer you have it in your inventory. So
Okay.
really cool touches like that.
Nice.
So it's a total blast. I've been having a lot of fun with
How's
it.
the castle coming along? Is it nearly time for a tour? Like, when is the
Oh,
Vampire
it looks
Castle
great.
tour?
It's getting better and better. I could definitely give
Okay.
you a tour sometime. And another thing that it has is like the different machines that you put down to make, refine materials and stuff, and different research tables and all kinds of different things. There's a system of flooring. So you have different flooring for different rooms. So the game wants you to make different rooms, and you put down these different floorings, and they give you, if you have those machines in those specific rooms, it actually buffs those machines and makes them run faster or need less materials or something. So there's an incentive to make your castle with different rooms, with these different floorings that you unlock over time. So you have your forge, you have your workshop, your library, your dungeon, whatever, and then I have my throne room, I have my crypt where I have my coffin and I sleep there and stuff. So it's going pretty well.
I imagine if you were a vampire, you live forever, you'd eventually be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna study manufacturing for a couple
Yeah.
of hundred years. You know, I think I'm
Build
going to
some
study
machines.
gardening. Yeah,
Right.
you eventually learn
my
everything.
storage room. I'm literally building up like Dracula's castle or something. And also the final boss in the game is Dracula, so you have to fight Dracula as the final boss. I've taken on a bunch of bosses. It's kind of 3 acts, and you kind of progressively fighting harder and harder bosses. I've almost completed the first act, so I have to fight the last boss of the first act, which is kind of the I guess mini boss of Act 1, to move on to Act 2. So I'm almost out of the early game into the middle game, basically.
The skill check boss.
Yeah, but the combat is so fun because there's so many different ways you can approach it. Like I said, you can use AoE spells and kind of stay at a distance, use range, or you can get up close. And different bosses fight in different ways, so you might have different strategies against them. Just so much player choice in this game. It's really cool.
Nice. Well, yeah, I'll have to get that tour. A big year for
so I
vampires and a
recommend it.
big year for Remix.
Absolutely. And I would
at
love to
least
give
on
you a
this
tour
show.
anytime. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, nice. Well, that's what we've been playing. I just looked at my log. Marvel Rivals real quick, 410 hours. Halo Infinite, 480. So it's almost surpassing, the last competitive game I played, which was Halo.
For me, Marvel Rivals, 475 hours.
Jesus
wow.
Christ.
Okay.
Steam.
That
How many did
explains
you say
it.
you had?
410.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, there's a break where you were playing a lot of Monster Hunter when I was
which
playing.
I haven't played much since then. I've
Yeah.
kind of fallen off. There's been some updates, but I don't know nothing about that.
Halo Infinite, I have 494 hours,
Damn.
which is still not my
Dang.
most played because my top 2 most played on Steam. Do you know what they
Right.
are? Minecraft is not on Steam, but that
Really?
would probably
Really?
no, it's separate launcher. So but I have thousands
Factorio.
of hours in Minecraft. Not Factorio. Actually, I guess I am a sporto because my top 2 games are, I like to do these sports franchises.
Yes.
NBA 2K and Madden are my most played games on Steam because of my franchises that I've had, long-running franchises. I don't even want to say how many hours.
No, how many hours we talking? You brought it up.
In NBA 2K21. So I don't buy the new NBAs. I just played 2K21 for the last 5 years.
Okay.
As a franchise. I have 1,276 hours on Steam.
Wow. And Madden is where?
Madden NFL 21, I have 853 hours.
Okay.
But those are, I've been playing those for 5 years. So
Sports Corner is maybe more in a wheelhouse than we had realized, at least on the
I don't
gaming
want to
side.
hear any more of this.
Yeah.
Let's wrap things up here. That's our Whatcha. We're going to hit our final thoughts coming up now on Normies Like Us. We're back here on Normies Like Us. And that was it. That was the big 349 coming up on 350.
I was thinking back in episode 343, we missed our opportunity to do Halo.
Oh, yeah.
343.
Well, we have something that might tie into that.
Thunderbolts or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. Don't worry.
That's funny. Yeah, we could have done that. Yeah, it was Thunderbolts. Well, but yeah, we're
a new game, Expedition 333.
6 weeks ago.
Expedition 33. Yeah, that's getting a lot of positive
Rare
buzz.
Obscure Expedition 33.
It was made by a team of 33 people.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's a game I haven't played it. Our friend Cole has mentioned him playing it. A lot of people are playing it. I find it interesting. It is a turn-based combat game, which I like, but it has a real-time aspect where you can parry, right? So you're parrying in this turn-based combat. So it's like Final Fantasy or Persona or something like that, but the ability to parry, adding some real, kind of like the Final Fantasy remake, the 7 remake, where it's like adding real-time aspects to turn-based combat. Yeah.
And Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah, very Legend of Dragoon.
Well, because they would have like some limit breaks of Final Fantasy, like 8 and stuff, would have timing-based inputs during your limit breaks and stuff. So it's very similar to that kind of rhythm element. But yeah, that's the Whatcha, another milestone. Quick shout out to a random movie I watched. I saw the Japanese Hot Tub Time Machine. It's called Summer Time Machine Blues. It's 2005, and the whole gimmick is the remote for the air conditioner gets broken. They somehow find a time machine for the sci-fi club, and they're just trying to go back in time and get a working remote while avoiding their past selves from seeing their future selves. And it's just trying to get a remote for an air conditioner. It's very silly.
Good for them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but anyway, sidebar.
We said it. Jacob, you said what the next episode is. We're going to be talking
28
about 28
years later.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And of course, going into July here, middle of the summer, we're already halfway through 2025, which is insane to say out loud, but
It could
it
get
feels
over
like it
soon.
just
Let's
started.
just move through the next 3 years or
I
so.
guess.
Right.
I don't know. I'm scared.
But July, a lot of big movies coming out. Maybe you've heard of them. So that's going to be a big month for us
Yeah.
for new releases. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, we've got our Miyazaki series that we're going to continue to do. We've got Laputa, The Castle in the Sky at the end of this month.
Mhm.
And so that's some stuff to look forward to.
Can't
Yep.
wait.
Thanks for catching up with us on this Whatcha once again.
Yeah. Whatcha.
Tell us what
Whatcha,
you've been
whatcha,
watching.
y'all.
Write in, tell us what you've been watching, what you've been watching,
Please
what
do
you've been
hit us
playing.
up at normies_like_us, where you can write in and say, I'll tell you what I've been watching since the last 10 episodes. I'm doing this and that. I'm also playing V Uprising. My castle's better than Jacob's.
If anyone's
Doubtful.
playing,
Yeah, if
playing
you wanna
V
do-
Rising, please write in because
If
I
you
would
want to
love
play fantasy basketball or co-op V Rising, send us a message.
I
Getting
need some
tough
friends.
on
I need
the
some new friends.
Los Angeles Sparks.
Yes.
As we said, hit us up on those social medias. Rate, review, subscribe. That helps out the podcast a ton too. We need those and suggest future episodes. But like Jacob said, we've got a bunch figured out coming up. So tune in for those and hit us
Absolutely.
up on YouTube.
Check us out on
Mhm.
YouTube. Look at our beautiful, beautiful faces. You can see our pod dog in the background and how close she will be coming to falling off the edge of the
She
table. that she's
I
lying
missed
on.
her leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
she
just
jumped
fell
off.
off.
She's lying
Yeah.
in her little. She wanted to
no,
lie in
she
her little dog bed
rolled.
on the floor now.
Oh, she got a dog bed down there too.
um,
You can see our background
yeah.
guitars, our
That's
pod dogs, and our underworld posters. Yes.
Absolutely. So thanks for tuning in, normies.
No,
We
catch you
love
next
ya.
I'm your
time.
host. This is Colin.
This is Mike.
This is Jacob.
Y'all have a good one. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Ballerina style
Bye.
from the world of Normie Wick.
Nice.